None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time. F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Apocaflix Movies and Apocaflix Now, our weekly hangout show here on the channel where we discuss everything that is the world of movies. And tonight is everything San Diego Comic-Con 2022. The biggest movie / convention of the year is back, and a lot came with it. And we are spending the next hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, however long it takes to break all this stuff down. And I got a couple good gentlemen to do with me. If you didn't already know, not only do we have 3 Jacobs on screen, but we have 3 JBs on screen. The same, like,
Crazy.
What a freaking crazy coincidence. So stoked. Jacob Bartley, how you doing, my man? It's Tuesday. You know, work's crazy. How you hanging in there?
Yeah, hanging in there, and literally just finished work, come straight here to do this, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I'd rather talk about this stuff than just hang out on my bed or whatever. But it is crazy. We were talking about it. Like, you remember in school when there was a kid with your same name and they differentiated you by the last initial? We can't even do that with us 3, which is crazy.
Can't do it.
But I'm glad to be here.
The same all around. Yes, Samir, you're right. It's a multiverse of Jacobs. You're right.
There we go.
Not wrong.
There
Not
we
wrong.
go.
And
we'll
back
have to
on
use
the channel,
last name, like full last names.
back on the channel. This isn't his first time. He joined us for the DC fandom, whether it was a success or failure. A little bit last year. Jacob London, man, how are you doing?
Hey, hanging out with everyone was amazing. Staying up till 5 a.m. in the morning wasn't. That was the dumb part.
Yeah.
I'm good. It was. I thought Comic-Con was interesting. I will say that much. For the most part, I definitely got FOMO. I definitely missed out not being there. Like I kind of wanted to be there, but given the stories and given COVID and given everything, I'm kind of glad we weren't. So that being said, I'm excited to talk about this. This should be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and I'm super excited because I feel like the 3 of us are gonna, and I believe Gio's gonna be here. And you know, just to start this thing off, it is Gio's birthday, everybody. It is Gio's birthday, so if he does show up, wish him a happy birthday. Blow him up on Twitter either way, no matter what. Keith will be here for a fact at some point. But the 3 of us are gonna have very different opinions on everything. I have a feeling. That's just, I know Jacob and we butt heads a lot. Bartley and I butt heads a lot. And I've been talking a little bit to London about this stuff, and I'm very, very interested in how this conversation is going to go. We're going to save the bulk of the Marvel stuff a little bit last because there's so much of it. We're going to start with the kind of non-superhero related stuff. And there's 2 major things that kind of came out of Comic-Con that essentially kicked off the convention. That was the Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves trailer, and then the Lord of the Rings of Power, which is not the first thing we've seen from the show, but it really was like the big trailer that they released leading into its release here in the fall. Let's start with Dungeons and Dragons. Now, myself, I have no experience with anything Dungeons and Dragons. I am a total newbie, never played it. The only history I have with this is Stranger Things. That is the only knowledge I have about Dungeons and Dragons. It comes from straight Stranger Things. But I gotta say, I enjoyed the hell out of this trailer. I don't know about everybody else. I thought this trailer was a lot of fun. The cast looks fun. I don't know what D&D nerds are saying about the trailer, but I thought it was a fun time. A lot of monsters, crazy, good cast, and you know, it's just like a summer blockbuster movie that I don't think should be an award caliber film like people should give the credit to. You know, just like go in, expect to have a little fun. You know, what about you, Blunden?
Look, the release that they had of the dragon beforehand, before the trailer and everything, and I was like, oh god, what is this? Oh, this is not going to be great.
The moving poster or whatever.
Yeah, like the moving poster, like the stuff that was around the convention that was like that, and I went, oh, this doesn't look great. No, throw that out. Look, the tone of this movie worked, and I think that was going to be the biggest thing that you had to get right. Was look, it's Dungeons and Dragons. You've gotta take it with a little bit of a wink. You can't do this seriously. If they did it 100% seriously and treated it like a Game of Thrones or like this big epic fantasy adventure, I think you would be a little more, this is silly. Like this, I don't think it would land the same way, but I think the tone worked for me. Now, I don't know how that's going to go in the actual movie, but for a trailer, I thought it worked really well. I thought it was fun. I thought it was, and I wasn't massively hyped for this. I'm still not overtly hyped, but it's one that I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. I think it could be good. Could be a bit of fun. And honestly, right now, it's kind of what I want. Just a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and we need those movies every once in a while. Like we just need those movies that kind of bring out that type of filmmaking. I also forgot to mention that I completely forgot this movie even existed. Like I totally forgot it was even a thing.
That it was in the first place, yeah.
Yeah, like it totally just completely missed my mind. And then when they dropped it at Comic-Con, I was like, oh, cool. And then I watched it and I had a fun time. You know, Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez and a good little cast there. Jacob, what about you? Or Bartley, excuse me. What about you? What did you think of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff?
Yeah, kind of like you. I don't have much exposure to the game at all, but other than the 2000 movie, I mean, I've seen that a bunch of times when I was a kid, and I just remember Marlon Wayans being in it, and it was fun as a kid. But since I've grown up, I've realized it's not a very good movie. But this looks a lot of fun, to be honest. And I've never played a D&D game. I've been invited to play. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get on. I'll come sometime, and I never go. But I should. I've been interested to try it. But what I've heard is that, like, this is the way they set up the trailer is kind of like how a game goes. Like, it's a bunch of random people. Like, they're all different personalities, and they kind of bring their own thing to the table. And that's kind of exactly what they're doing for the movie. So in that sense, I think it works. I think the best way this doesn't work for every like card game or board game translated into a movie, but for D&D, I think it does, where you make it familiar with the campaigns that people run. And I think it works in that sense. And I love Chris Pine. Everything that Chris Pine is in, he's gold, I think. And Michelle Rodriguez, I've been a big fan of her for a long time. And to see her basically be the second lead in this is really damn cool. So I was not looking forward to this movie at all, but now I am. And that's a win for them.
Yeah, and it's also cool just because I feel like we don't get a ton of these, you know, like fantasy movies anymore. Like in like the mid 2000s and, you know, like that 10-year gap, we were getting so many of them. And then they kind of just like fell off a little bit. And now we're kind of getting back into the fold of getting into that genre. Obviously, you know, Rings of Power and Game of Thrones is returning again. And so we're kind of getting back into that like fantasy epic style of movie.
Don't forget about classic comedy one. It was a spoof, basically.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, I'm interested. I'm curious on how it does. I think the first trailer surprised a lot of people, so can't go wrong with that, especially in something like Comic-Con. You know, with that said, I think we should talk about this Rings of Power show, because this is obviously one of, if not the biggest show to come out in the last however long. Millions and millions of dollars have been put into this show. It's Lord of the Rings. It's the first time we're getting Lord of the Rings in a very long time, and the first time on television. I don't know. Like, I know Bartley's a fan of it. Blunden, are you a Lord of the Rings guy? Is it like a major thing for you?
It's not a major thing.
Okay.
So growing up, you had, you know, could only really go see one movie over the holidays, and there were two movies playing in our summer of 2001, and I picked Harry Potter because
Really?
my franchise. I read the books. I was excited for Harry Potter, and I went and saw Harry Potter and fell completely in love with Harry Potter. Harry Potter is probably my all-time favorite franchise. I absolutely adore it. I didn't see Lord of the Rings until I was a bit older, I was probably in my mid to late teens, where I actually sat down and watched them. Don't get me wrong, I adore them. I think they're incredible films. I try and watch them at least once every couple of years, but I don't have that same level of connection that a lot of people do. That being said, I'm excited. I thought it looked cool. Like, again, I'm like, okay, cool, we're back in this world. I'm a little the one thing that I do, and it's nothing that it's nothing that I can really hold against it because it is a TV series, but well, it's the problem I got with Star Wars right now. It's reducing Lord of the Rings to TV and TV filmmaking. There's a lot of of just shot selections and things that I've seen in the trailer where it's like, oh, this is TV. This is very get it done as cheap, as quickly as possible compared to a Peter Jackson filmmaking techniques. And I think that's one element of it that, again, I'm not going to hold it over the show until I actually watch it, but that's something that I am noticing more, and I think it's also just where I'm having issues at the moment with a lot of these franchises is they're being reduced to TV filmmaking because it's quicker and cheaper, and it's kind of upsetting me a little.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. You know, I love TV. Most people who watch either this show or a certain point of view, they know how much I enjoy television. I watch a lot of different types of shows, but I do agree that, you know, certain franchises, they should live on the big screen. You know, as much as I love maybe different stories being told, it almost feels like something as big and epic as Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or some other stuff, they fit better on the big screen rather than, like you said, almost reducing it to something smaller to tell a little bit of a different story. You know, I'm not a Lord of the Rings nut by any means. I've watched the movies a handful of times, if that. I know characters, I know stories. I don't know what is happening here. It's still so all new and fresh to me. But you know, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to look forward to it until, you know, I decide otherwise on, you know, episode by episode. But I do agree that I am curious the way that filmmaking is kind of going over the last like 5+ years, where a lot of franchises that 15, 20 years ago would never touch television are now wanting all of their feet in television. Because when Lord of the Rings were coming out, when Peter Jackson was doing them, they would have never done a TV series. It was always big screen. And now we're getting this hugely budgeted television series that is supposed to make it feel like a movie on the small screen. And no matter how much money you put into it, we're still watching it on our television, which is a little bit different than watching it on a big screen.
But it's not only that, it's the type of, so we're very much seeing, and again, you know, that you look at some of the shots they're doing, and again, it's also seeping into the movies, and this is another problem that we will talk about later. It's a lot of it is eye level shot, reverse shot, because that's the quickest, easiest way to shoot scenes because they're quick, cheap. You can do it very quickly, and that's, there's stuff like that that's starting to seep into both television and movies of just making it as quickly as we can, and as cheap as we can. And again, I don't know how much of that is COVID, and I don't know how much of that is
that's true.
We're trying to be cheaper. So that is the other thing is like we'll talk about this more later, but I'm fascinated when we get to the other side of COVID filmmaking, once we've seen all these movies and seen, I think Mission Impossible is my most fascinated movie for next year because I am fascinated by how we're going to see a Christopher McQuarrie shot film during the height of COVID.
Weren't both of them? They were shot back to back in COVID, correct?
No, so they've
just
only,
the first one.
They only shot one.
Okay.
And then two is being shot now or has been shot, and technically was shot during COVID, but it wasn't back to back.
Okay.
There was a break because Cruise had to go do Top Gun.
I think I'm back again. We'll see how it goes. My apologies. New home, new internet. You know how that goes.
You're good. No, Jay. I mean, Blunden, you're right, man. It's something that we haven't talked about much on this channel, or just in general. Everything that we've been seeing over the last year and a half or so, since like COVID kind of a little bit stepped down a little bit, is all still COVID filmmaking. And even for the rest of this year, there's still a lot of things that are coming out that have all been filmed during that COVID era. So you're right. It's going to be interesting to see if there is a transition when it all kind of like is back into normal filmmaking, and if we notice it or not.
I haven't really made my thoughts on Thor, Love and Thunder that well known, but I wasn't a fan of that movie. I really didn't like Thor, Love and Thunder. And a lot of it came down to, I thought the filmmaking was just bland. As I thought there was no real filmmaking involved in it, and I thought that it was very dull, and the comedy didn't work for me. Now, it's a Taika movie, all right. I'm interested to see Taika's next one, or whatever that is, be it Star Wars, be it original, be it whatever it is, and whether or not that Thor movie was just a product of the fact that Australia had some of the most restrictions on COVID, and whether or not he had to film it that way. That was all he could do. Or if no, that's just where they're going, where Marvel movies are going at the moment. So we'll see. But that is an element over the next 12 to 18 months that I am going to find fascinating about our blockbuster filmmaking, about the blockbusters over the next 18 months, is where are they filmmaking wise? Like Elvis was shot here under the same conditions, and that movie doesn't feel like a COVID movie. That movie is not as nuts as it can get. So it's stuff like that I find fascinating.
It's something to keep in mind. I mean, I never thought about it, and it's definitely something to keep in mind. Jake Bartley, we were talking about the Rings of Power. Do you have any thoughts on the show? I know that you're a big Lord of the Rings guy. You love it. What are your thoughts on this trailer and in the show in general?
Yeah, man. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and used to put together our top 10 lists on the web when we had the website, and I had Fellowship with the Ring in my top 5, and I wasn't a big fan of the Hobbit movies. Like the first Hobbit movie, I really liked. Smaug, I liked the Smaug scenes, and then the third one was a disappointment. So I'm like, I need some good Lord of the Rings in my life, and from the looks of this trailer, now the Comic-Con trailer to me is my favorite trailer so far because it gives us the most insight into the story. The other ones were kind of like,
agreed. Look,
this world looks so beautiful. Look how good the cinematography looks. And it looks wonderful, but I want to know what's going on. And to me, this kind of dived into that. We got Sauron, or glimpses of him, or mentionings of him in this trailer. And I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but this
don't jinx yourself, Bartley.
Yeah, this has the potential to be a really good show. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Stay reserved, my friend. Stay reserved for now.
I am a little worried because it works for Game of Thrones where like you're focusing on like 30 different characters, right? I'm worried that they're going to try to do that and not hone in on a few specific characters.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm very excited.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, I think we should get into some DC stuff before we talk about some Marvel stuff.
Before we do that, I just want to say one thing.
No, you're good.
I found fascinating by this weekend, and I think was a massive mistake by Warner Brothers and HBO. They should have aired the first episode of House of Dragon.
That's a great call.
They should have shown it at Comic-Con. And the reason I say that is Lord of the Rings, they're going up against Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
House of Dragon has the problem of people don't care about Game of Thrones as much as they used to anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, season 8 was I don't hate season 8 as much as everyone else does, but it was that bad on a massive scale for most people that you now need to win people back. Yeah. I think if you showed that episode at Comic-Con, you showed the first episode, and people start talking, going, Game of Thrones is back. And it airs next week or in 2 weeks or whatever it is. I don't know. I can't remember what date it starts. But I think that would have been a massive moment of trying to win back the fans. The downside of that is it sucks and they're terrified.
Well,
that's the other side.
Yeah, like it could totally be a flop. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times where Comic-Con has showed, an episode or conventions in general have showed episodes or parts or whatever. I mean, even if you didn't want to show the full episode, you could have showed like the first 20 minutes or something that got people interested, just enough to be like, oh, like this felt like Game of Thrones. You're right. I mean, it's going up against a lot of incredible shows that are coming our way. And that doesn't even, like, obviously Lord of the Rings is like the big one that everyone's looking forward to this fall. We can't discount, however we feel about them. We can't discount things like She-Hulk and Andor as well, which are all coming out in August, and they run for weeks and weeks on time. Like, there's going to be a lot of television from the big budget perspective that are coming out. And Game of Thrones, like right now, out of Star Wars, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, and Game of Thrones, to me, it's in dead last because people just don't feel good about it anymore.
And when it was on, it was number one, hands down.
Yeah.
They got to work their way back up, which is crazy.
Yeah. You one or two, you'd argue, like, given, but yeah, it is amazing. They've definitely lost a lot of the fans.
Yeah, it's a bummer too, because I remember the height of that show, and it was so fun to be a fan talking about it on a day, on a weekly basis when those episodes are dropping. So I am very curious about that show. I hope it does well. I love the idea. It's all about the execution, though. We'll see if it ends up being successful or not. Okay, before Marvel, we have some other DC stuff to talk about. Not a lot. There's only two real things to talk about when it came to Warner Brothers and DC, and that is Shazam and Black Adam. Let's talk about Black Adam first, just because it was quicker. Not a whole lot happened. We've seen trailers and footage from this, and they dropped one final sneak peek, as they called it, from Comic-Con. That I think, in my opinion, was the best trailer out of them all. It was the best trailer out of them all, in my opinion. I still have a little hesitations on this
coming
movie,
around on the hero villain thing.
No, I'm not coming around on the hero villain thing. But this trailer showed that Black Adam could actually be like a total bad guy in it. Yeah, if it's just the way that it was edited.
Like, I'm not a hero and all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
And that's been the biggest complaint for me. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But I will say, out of all of the footage we've seen, as far as edited goes, the Comic-Con trailer looked the best to me. And that makes me feel good, because it's probably the last major trailer before we get the actual movie in October, obviously. Other than that, not a whole lot happened. Obviously, The Rock came out in the suit. He was, lit up on stage, talking to the fans and whatnot. But I mean, did either of you watch the actual Comic-Con trailer?
Yeah, I did.
See the actual footage?
Yeah.
Okay. Harley, what did you think of it?
It was, I mean, I really liked it. I'm glad you mentioned it was a sneak peek, because I didn't know that. I thought it was another full trailer, because it did not feel like a full trailer. It really felt like a sneak peek. So that I'm glad they called it that. It kind of just felt like all the trailers that have come out so far have collectively, they all give you a good idea of what the movie's going to be, but all of them are kind of teasers and sneak peeks. So, and this just continued that for me, and I liked it. I mean, I'm very open-minded. Like, I don't know much about the Black Adam lore. I know his history with Shazam and all that. So I'm curious. I'm like, make me a Black Adam fan. It's what I want this movie to do. And from this trailer, it looks like it's going to do that. I really love the last shot of the trailer when Hawkman flies at him and he gets thrown back. And my only exposure to Hawkman is from Legends of Tomorrow, which was okay. An okay portrayal. this Hawkman looks badass. And I'm wondering, so he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm not a hero," but then Dr. Fate is like, "You can save this world," but then he's fighting Hawkman. So like, I'm really confused at what's going on, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, the editing is obviously coming into play here. The reason why I think I like this trailer a little bit more is, and it could have solely been just the way they put it together, is when Dr. Fate says, you can save this world. Do you want to destroy it or do you want to save it? He says no, which leads me to believe that he's going to be the bad guy, that's what I want. He's not a hero. I don't need him saving people. I don't need him saving people.
If they make a movie where the title character, you go in thinking they're going to be a hero and they're actually the villain, and then it's like Hawkman and these other characters trying to stop him, that would be kind of cool.
That's what I want. He's Black Adam.
I never thought of it that way. That's
Black
cool.
Adam. Blunden, what about you?
I really am not trying to be the Debbie Downer today. I really am. I'm really trying not to be.
Your mind.
I will say this to give you a hint. I loved the next thing we're talking about. I absolutely adored it. So
okay,
I do have something positive that we can talk about.
I placed it perfectly, knowing where you stand on everything.
Yeah, no, I fucking hated this. Oh my god.
No!
There we go.
No!
I am terrified of this.
Wait, did you like the other trailers?
No, I've hated everything I've seen from this.
Okay.
This feels like a Rock movie, and The Rock has not made a good movie in nearly a decade. I'm terrified of just how bad this movie is going to be. Like, so I made the mistake of watching the Shazam trailer first. And that was probably my problem, because when I woke up, they were both out, and I went, oh, Shazam, I'm excited for that. I'll watch that trailer. And I was like, oh, cool. So I watched that and I was like, oh man, that's really awesome. I really like that. And that was cool. Then I watched the Black Adam trailer and I went, this just looks like hard work. This looks like it's going to be work going to watch.
Wow.
The line where he says, it's not a gift. It's a curse. I was this close to throwing my phone. I went, are you kidding me? I have heard him say this about 10,000 times in his movies. I just don't like anything we've seen from this movie. It looks bad. I think it looks very, very formulaic and very journeyman director. There's nothing about this that's getting me excited. Like, literally, like, I'm going to see it because I will. I'll get a free ticket to go see it, and that'll be why. But holy fuck, am I?
I mean, look, I don't think I'm not as against it as you are, but I will say that I have extreme hesitations when it comes to this movie, and Bartley knows this because we've talked about it plenty of times. It just feels like it's not going to go the way it should. I don't know if it feels too formulaic, or if it just feels bland, or something that we've seen before, or whatever. But I haven't had questions about it, like a superhero property like this, in a very long time. And it's weird because it's The Rock. Like, I usually like what Dwayne does, but I think it's because of the specific role that he's playing and how they're going about it. It does scare me. It really does scare me, because this project's been in development for like 15 years. And if it's a total dud, that sucks. Like, that sucks if it's a dud after that long of work.
It feels like, to me, like a 2000s superhero movie.
I mean, and that's,
I have with Morbius. Look, it can't be worse than Morbius. I will be shocked if it's worse than Morbius. if it's worse than Morbius, I will walk out. Like, the only reason I stayed for Morbius was just because I was by myself and I was like, I'll suffer through this. If it's worse than Morbius,
I still haven't seen Morbius.
Morbius is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I hated that movie.
Well, the one thing that does worry me, I mean, so you said this feels like a Rock movie, and it basically is a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson production. He has his Colette Sarah, the guy who directed Jungle Cruise, directing it.
See, I did not like it. I was like,
Didn't they
one of
work
5
together
people-
before, or was that their
They
first
ha-
time
they worked-
working together?
They've done something else.
But look,
But
and
I'm one of
his,
like,
Did
I'm
they
one
do
of the-
Rampage? No,
Yeah,
they didn't do
I
Rampage.
don't think so. But
Was it
he
Rampage?
directed a few of those Liam Neeson, like those recent Liam Neeson
Oh yeah,
action
no,
movies.
this is his first one with outside of Jungle Cruise. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of those Liam Neeson movies, which
Well, he
Yeah.
did the Blake Lively shark movie, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
that
is
one.
gonna say
Shallows.
that's a good movie on his
Yeah.
resume. But like,
Mhm.
I mean, Orphan is interesting movie.
yeah, like
Yeah, he doesn't give. Basically, the director does not give me optimism for the movie at all. Like all our concerns, and then you look at the director, I'm like, that could go really bad or pretty good. Who knows?
yeah, and like, look, when I say okay, to me, The Rock, for being the most charismatic guy in Hollywood, I'm not getting that in his movies anymore. I'm getting The Rock in every single one of his movies. Like John Cena at least is playing a character in every one of his movies. I think Dave Bautista is the best actor out of the three of them, easily. And like The Rock's constantly just picking the same projects over and over, and it's frustrating to me of where we're at with his movies, because I think he could be very talented. He could use his star power to make some really awesome and incredible movies, and instead he's picking these sort of projects constantly, and it's can't damage his brand, can't damage his image.
That's the thing that bothers me.
Like he can't lose a fight, or
That's the thing that. Well, we know about the infamous contract between the Fast and Furious contract where he couldn't lose a fight. Like,
but
that,
not only that. I'm meaning that his movies can't push an envelope. They can't. They've got to be PG-13. They've got to be a wide appeal for a 4-quadrant movie. They can't push an envelope. They can't do anything a little bit different, and it's just frustrating to me because it's so blatantly obvious in every single movie that he picks now. And that's where I get frustrated. And
what
that's
was
where
the Michael Bay film that he did? Like that's the last movie that
okay.
Pain and Gain.
I don't love Pain and Gain, but it's the last time I've seen The Rock actually act
and actually do something a little edgy, you know?
Yep. And
yeah, I mean, since then he's done like what Rampage, Skyscraper, San Andreas, Jungle Cruise. Like, you're right. It really is just The Rock.
Yeah. So that's just where I'm at with The Rock in general. So it's kind of why I'm not overtly excited for this movie. I'll see it. I hope don't get me wrong. I'm hoping I go in and I'm pleasantly surprised, because hey, a Pierce Brosnan Dr. Fate, that's awesome.
He's gonna steal the movie. He's 100% gonna steal the movie.
When he shows up and changes his outfit, it looks so cool.
Yeah, there's stuff in this movie that I should, and like Aldous Hodge as fucking Hawkman.
Yeah,
oh
it's
my
dope.
God. Like,
dope. Yeah.
There's stuff in here that I should be completely in love with and excited for. And it's like, if you hit it, it's then you put The Rock in as the main character, and I just go, okay. Like, it's
is this the dude from Invisible Man?
Yeah,
Aldous
Yeah.
Hodge.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man.
I didn't even know that he's playing Hawkman.
Dude.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
That's kind of where I'm at with a lot of these at the moment, of just, I'm beyond excited for Shazam. And if Shazam 3 has The Rock versus Shazam, I'll probably be a little bit more excited, because he'll very much be the villain of that movie, and he might actually not play it safe. He might actually decide, I'm going to be the villain of this movie. And if that's the case, all right, I'm on board. And if we get to the end of this movie and Black Adam has been the villain, and what you guys are saying, that he is the villain, and he destroys the JSA, and we go full villain,
I hope so,
it
man.
will be enough to make me go, all right, you took a risk and it paid off. Well done. I'll give you the credit for that. I don't have hope. None of these trailers have given me the hope that that's what they're doing. So
Fair enough.
I don't trust Warner Brothers right now. Like Warner Brothers is a mess at the moment.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing with
You know,
these projects.
like, and this was made during the transition from AT&T.
Yeah, it's
to
gonna take a while for us to feel the effects of Discovery and
we're gonna
Shazam
have
and all that,
this is made during when executives were all playing for their bonuses. Like it's so we're in a we're in a rough couple of years, guys, if for DC fans. And it sucks because I'm a DC fan. I much prefer DC to Marvel. I've always preferred DC to Marvel, but oof. Anyway.
Well, should we get to something a little brighter, a little bit more positive? I feel like the
Let's
three of us are gonna love this. The first trailer for Shazam: Fury of the Gods dropped, and even though DC only brought 2 things to Comic-Con, which is such like,
can we get into that?
Bummer. Yeah, like just like wow, like what a move. They brought one thing that was so bright, so fun, so colorful, and looked exactly like the first, just amped up a little bit. Blunden, because you've been so negative so far today, I'll let you be a little positive first. What did you think of this trailer first?
Outside of the Black Panther trailer from this is my favorite trailer of the weekend. I loved this trailer so much. This was everything I wanted it to be. I'm beyond excited for this movie now. I thought it was funny. I thought it worked really well. I thought it was just one of those. Okay, I'm hyped. Like it got me excited. And given where I'm at right now with superhero movies and blockbusters in general, this just got me hyped. Like I was like, all right, yep, I'm on board. Because I've been talking after Thor. I was talking to our group that go to the screenings, and we were like, there's one blockbuster between now and the end of the year that I'm looking forward to, and it's Avatar. Like that was it. And then the Black Panther trailer and this now dropped, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. Yep, I'm back. Like these, I loved this trailer so much, and it just got me hyped for this movie. I think Helen Mirren's gonna have a ball. She is having the time of her life.
Yes,
in it. Like she's sitting there going, "Oh my, this is as fun as I have when I'm in the bloody Fast and Furious movies." Like I cannot wait for this movie, and here's the thing. If it sucks, it's gonna hurt. Like it's really gonna hurt.
Good point.
Because I'm really excited and I'm really pumped for this movie, and I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun.
They're adding a lot of cool things to what was already like a great core. We mentioned Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu. There's so many great additions that are coming into the film, and then you
Rachel Zegler.
Rachel Zegler,
West Side
thank you.
Story.
Thank you.
She's the
Correct.
third one, right?
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the three of them together are going to be great. I love that Fast and Furious joke to Helen Mirren. It was so perfect. Yes. Zachary Levi is clearly just having the time of his life playing this character.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that just from what we got in the trailer, the family element that seems to be in play, where like the foster parents eventually end up knowing what is going on. And the action looks great. I love the idea of like these monsters that are kind of running around. He's got to face these demons, and I'm all for it. It looks cool. Jimon Hansu as a super gold looking dude. It looks great. I mean, it looks exactly like the first, but just a little bit more, almost like a mature version in a better way. But I think it's going to have the same gimmicks and everything, which is exactly what it should have. So I'm all in, man. I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods can end up being a really, really fun time.
I agree. Look, the superhero genre has evolved and changed so much, but it needs a little bit of everything, and it needs Shazam. For DC needs something like Shazam, and just the superhero genre needs something like Shazam. It's literally a kid who turns into a superhero. And what are we all but just a bunch of big kids getting excited over all the stuff that we loved when we were actually kids. So it kind of like, it's the one superhero that we can connect through in that way. And they kind of just show us that through the movies and through the trailer. When he throws the truck at the dragon, like he's just having so much fun. When he says family, and then they don't show up, and you could just see Zachary Levi just light up on his face, and he's having so much fun. And that really just pours through the screen, and you feel it as a viewer. And I love that. Really liked the first Shazam. I like that we're because we didn't get the Shazam family until the end of the first one, right? Which is fine because it's the first movie. But now we're getting the movie like right away. They're there, and like, was his name Adam Brody? I love Adam Brody.
Adam Brody, yeah.
And the fact that he gets to do something like this is really cool. So I'm all in, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say, look, this is the only similarity between Shazam and Deadpool is that they get to make fun of their universes in different ways. And Shazam gets to like poke at other superheroes in his universe and have fun with that. So I think that's something really cool too. So overall, I really, really like the trailer. And as far as like DC properties go, this is one that's up there for me.
The suits also look incredible.
Yeah,
like,
are they different?
Incredible. They're definitely different from the first one. Yeah.
So I'm guessing they could just change them, like whenever they kind of like how Thor can.
No, so they've now got the DC budget, so they can do whatever they want. Because the first one was this little movie that they were hoping would do okay.
Didn't
now
another production company like come in and have to fund Shazam? And I'm pretty sure that the first one.
Who owns it? Hang on, it's. So New Line are technically the ones who produce this.
Yeah, okay.
But they're owned by they work with they're a
they've worked with Warner Brothers forever, right?
Warner Brothers own them. Like
yeah.
So,
okay.
But they're New Line technically owned the rights, and it's a weird.
So they could say no, we're not making a Shazam movie if they wanted.
Well, it's all owned by the same company.
Yeah, so that's just weird. Yeah.
It's so okay to put it into modern day context, it would be like if you make a Alien movie now, 20th Century Studios would be on there. You can't make an Alien movie without 20th Century Studios, even though it's owned by Disney. Disney own it. Disney could do whatever the hell they want. Like, of course, but it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, I was going to bring Gio on, but he seems to have disappeared from his chair. Oh, nope. He's here. Here we go. Birthday boy is officially here. Gio Ramos has graced us with his presence. Timing. What's up, man?
Guys, I am so sorry. I am late.
You mixed up the times, didn't you?
A quick little 15-minute nap turned into like 2 hours.
I knew it. I texted Gio and I said, "You napping?" I knew it.
That's
happy birthday, Gio.
Hey, no better way to spend a birthday than catching up and getting some rest, and I'm not ashamed. I don't care.
That is fair. Well, Gio, quickly, because we are on the topic and you are the DC enthusiast here on the channel, we are talking Shazam, Fear the Gods. You got any final thoughts before we move on?
Somebody mentioned it. David Sandberg looks like he was given some money to work with this time. You could tell by the costume upgrades, the casting additions. Lucy Liu, great to see her back on the big screen, and Helen Mirren, Rachel Zegler. You guys touched on it. This sequel seems like it's going to be still family friendly, but get into more of the mature themes. I thought it was the second best edited trailer as far as blending music goes. Number one,
we know what the first is. We know what the first is.
Yeah, but
I didn't mention the music. Great music choice, by the way. For the trailer.
Yeah, and so I'm encouraged. DC didn't show a lot, but what they did show, it was solid in my opinion. So,
all right, fair enough. Well, gentlemen, the time is now. We have finally reached that time where we are getting to the absolute just like arsenal that Marvel has decided to drop on us over the weekend. They had the 5 o'clock spot at Hall H on Saturday evening in San Diego Comic-Con. And we have a lot to talk about. We knew of a bunch of projects that are headed our way, but they added and filled a lot of gaps that we now know are coming in the next number of years. I do want to cover the quick animation portion of all this just to start things off, because it was the first thing that was announced. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but I want to make sure I mention it. So we have a couple animated projects headed our way in the next few years. So I Am Groot is the next one that's coming. They dropped a trailer for that animated little show. And then we have Spider-Man Freshman Year, What If Season 2, X-Men 97, and Marvel Zombies are all headed our way. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say about Marvel animation or what they saw or heard coming from that panel?
I found it interesting that they're basically considered their own thing now. They're not part of the phases. He basically like What If wasn't included in the Phase 4 thing when they did it. Like they're basically their own thing, which I find interesting. That's not a bad thing. I actually think it's the right move because they can now do whatever the hell they want. And given its animation, given the flexibility of animation to do whatever you want, I think it's not a bad thing and not a bad decision to say, hey, it's its own universe and we're just going to let them go off and do whatever the hell they want. So
I was gonna say when it all dropped, or our Apocaflix chat, I was telling the boys that I kind of see the animation side as like multiverse stories. They're stories from the multiverse. Now that we know what the multiverse is, No Way Home came out, Multiverse of Madness, that it's all been opened up. You can see What If obviously being a multiverse story from the first season, but X-Men 97's in one universe. Spider-Man Freshman Year's in one universe, especially knowing that Tom Holland isn't actually voicing him in the show. It's a different universe. So it just I kind of like that they're doing that. Because they can do whatever they want now with animation and tell any type of story that doesn't have any kind of effect on what's happening inside of the MCU canon with like the television shows and the movies. So yeah, you're right. I do think that, I don't know if they like blatantly said it, but clearly looking at it, it is nice to know that that's kind of what they're doing going forward.
Yeah, that's kind of my big takeaway from the animation stuff. The other thing that I found a little interesting was we didn't get really anything talked about the Christmas special that's coming up.
Is that live action?
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. I forgot about that.
It's coming out in December, and we didn't hear anything. Now,
yeah,
again,
it'll
just come out. It's going to be short.
They might have said something. It's a half-hour special from what they've said. I think it might be an hour actually. But they might have said something during the actual panel, or James Gunn might have talked about it afterwards. But the fact that it wasn't included anywhere else, I think, a little interesting.
And they didn't mention Werewolf by Night as well, which does it come out this year or the year after? Does it come out next year?
I thought it was coming out this year, but
I thought it was coming out this year as well.
I look at those as like they're literally holiday specials, so they're not gonna like, promote them at things like this. I don't.
And D23 is coming, so maybe that's where they talk about.
Yeah, and there's that. I thought it's interesting that Tom Holland's not voicing Spider-Man, but Charlie Cox is gonna voice Daredevil in that series, which is like, I guess it all plays into the multiverse thing, right? Just how like a certain Peter Parker could like be a completely different person, even though it's still Peter Parker. I think they're gonna, these series, because like they kind of played it like What If was canon in the multiverse of the MCU. So can all of these be canon in the multiverse of the MCU? Probably.
I mean, I think that's what they're going for. I think that's exactly what they're going for.
Look, they played the X-Men theme song twice already in 2 MCU properties. That X-Men 97 series is going to be important, I think.
I think they're canon. I think they're canon in the way that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man's now.
Exactly. Canon. Yeah, they're just new stuff.
Look, Secret Wars is going to basically make every single Marvel production that they've ever done.
Everything.
It's going to do exactly what Crisis on Infinite Earths did for the CW, where it's all canon and it's all in the past, and this is now going forward. That's what they're going to do. And we can get to that when we talk predictions, because I have a theory on the next saga. But yeah.
Love it. Gio, any thoughts on animation before we move on to live action stuff?
I agree with what some of you are saying about the multiverse. It's perfectly set up. Big standout was X-Men 97, and just getting to see those animations again and getting to see that Magneto is going to be the one leading the X-Men. I find that very interesting.
A totally different look, by the way, too. Like weird look.
Yeah. No, they definitely changed it up. And I can't remember how the original X-Men series ended. I plan on going back and rewatching that, but I just can't remember for the life of me. But I'm looking forward to that. And The Marvel Zombies rated TVMA. That's
yeah.
I'm
yeah,
I'm
still
like
not-
I'm
Mhm.
like secretly excited for that show just because after seeing the image of like what characters are going to be focused on fighting the zombie apocalypse and seeing like the total rambunctious crew that they put together to fight the zombies that we saw as that they're choosing, it could be a very cool show, especially if it's going to be, a TV mature show.
I'm here for it.
All
Yeah, I
right.
wonder what that means though. Like, are there going to be like human heads ripped off? Like, who? I don't know. What does that mean? TV mature.
I'm sure we'll see body parts and stuff fall off for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some-
if it's
some-
mature,
something like Invincible, maybe from Prime Video.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that's
I don't think a Disney Plus show is going that far.
Well, I think
maybe not that dark, but I don't know.
them like cutting
put
up
Logan and
zombie
Deadpool on there.
bodies is gonna be like graphic enough to make it TVMA,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, zombies, it obviously calls for a little maturity, but
True.
all right. So let's get into. I guess let's start with the rest of Phase 4. I guess it would be, which comes out or ends this year. It was confirmed that both She-Hulk and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever are the final 2 projects of Phase 4. So Phase 4 will end with Wakanda Forever. And those are the only 2 projects that got an actual trailer that were publicly released. There was a Guardians 3 trailer, an Ant-Man 3 trailer, and I believe that was it as far as inside
Secret
Hall
Invasion
8.
as well.
Secret Invasion, good call. Thank you. Good call. So let's start with these 2 projects. We've got trailers. They're coming. They are this year. I'll just quickly go because I would like to hand it off to the panel. I talked about both of them on our trailer reaction. You can see my thoughts there when we did our reaction. I know that there's a big discussion going on about She-Hulk and the CGI and stuff. Putting that aside, I really like the She-Hulk character. I very much like the character. I think the show looks like a nice, unique, fresh look into the MCU. I also freaked out when Daredevil showed up. The fact that he's showing up in the show,
cool.
It's still unbelievable that he's kind of back, that Charlie Cox has returned. It's still hard to believe. I'm really looking forward to the show. And then with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I mean, I'm on the same page with everybody. It's an emotional look into what this film is going to be. The cinematography looks outstanding. The trailer was so well put together. Namor looks incredible. I love the route they're going with the character. And I said it on the reaction. I'll say it here. I believe that Black Panther is going to be Nakia, not Shirt. Take it away, crew.
Nakia is which
sorry.
character? Who's Nakia? Is she
Black Panther's girlfriend.
Lupita
Lupita
Nyong'o?
Nyong'o.
Oh, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
Lupita's Black Panther going for.
I agree.
100%.
Mhm.
Or it's a team, one or the other. I don't know which one yet.
That was it. That's actually interesting.
It's a team of Black Panthers. There isn't just one. That's the other thing. That's the other theory I've kind of got.
Could do
maybe.
that. There's more than one suit.
Yeah. Best trailer of Comic-Con, easily. I think the Black Panther trailer. I think easily the best trailer of Comic-Con. Like I've notoriously, very publicly and annoyingly to my friends, been very down on this phase of the MCU. Been very down on the MCU in general in the last couple of in the last 2 years. Very much not been a massive fan of a lot of the decisions they've made. Not been a massive fan of a lot of the films in general. I think Shang-Chi is the best of the best, but it's also got the Wonder Woman problem of we're telling a really engaging and amazing story, but we have to have a third act battle when you didn't. You actually had it there. But anyway, that being said, this movie got me back, and I messaged as soon as after I saw that trailer, I messaged Taylor and I was like, I'm back. No, like I'm
Let's go. Let's go.
And because it's funny when they first did the announcements, and because we're kind of doing this in a weird order, but when they first came out and they went Black Panther Phase 4 is ending Phase 4. Here is Phase 5, and they just went bang, 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 and they went through all of them. And I first saw that, and I just went, ugh. Like, I wasn't excited, and I wasn't overly hyped for it, because I just looked at it and I went, That is a lot for a year and a half.
Mhm.
And knowing also, and again, not knowing that Phase 6 was a thing that they were about to announce. But in my head, I'm also going, there's no Deadpool 3 in there, which we all know is happening. And there's a guaranteed at least a Spider-Man movie in there somewhere, because Sony are not going to let that go for 2 years. And it just kind of went, oh, for God's sakes, is this like really? And then the rest of the event happened, and we can get into that in a bit. But I wasn't excited, in this whole panel, and just the whole panel and everything going on Twitter and reading it all was just not making me excited at all. Them talking about it was not, and anything. And then the Black Panther trailer dropped, and I went, okay, no, I get it. Like, it got me straight back into it, and I was overly excited. And I'm like, all right,
Love
I'm back.
to
Like,
hear it.
Like it. I'm hyped for Black Panther.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
very excited, and I think it's going to be an absolute great film. Which I really always should have known, but I think just because this production's been such a mess, all things considered, with not just Chadwick, but also with COVID and everything that was happening around that, I was worried about this movie. She-Hulk, I thought, I hated that first trailer. This one was better, definitely better. She doesn't look as weird this time. Like, it does, like, it's not as jarring as it was the first time for me.
It definitely looks better.
It's definitely improved.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little excited for She-Hulk. I'm like, all right, this looks cool. This could be fun. Like, again, and tonally, I'm like, this could be fun. And that's kind of what I want, because it's a TV show, and I just want a fun sitcom. Yeah, like a fun sitcom courtroom drama or comedy. That
Dramedy. There you go.
Yeah, that will be amazing. And
It's
that's exactly what
9 episodes, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
9 episodes.
and that's the other thing. When we talk about another announcement that they made, this feels like a TV show, and I am and I want that from these shows. I am sick of the stretched out movie, and that's what this phase has been. Every single show, bar WandaVision and me, and I might give you Loki, has been a stretched out movie, and it's driven me mad, because that's what Disney Plus do right now. But anyway,
yeah. I mean, I think I agree with people that like the CGI doesn't look perfect for the She-Hulk stuff, but you got to think about it. And I was telling my buddy the other day, like, it's a TV show, so you got to keep that in mind. Like, when you watch a TV show, you have different expectations, and you know even though they spend a lot of money on these TV shows, it still doesn't match up to the movie budgets, and that's a long conversation to get into, but it just doesn't. So I'm okay with it, and I think it's going to look even better once we actually see the show, to be honest. But really like the tone and the jokes and everything in She-Hulk. Favorite moment is when she looks at the camera and says, "He didn't mean that," and then she looks back. She's like, "Wait a minute." She realized that she can break the fourth wall in that moment.
Agreed.
And I'm like, how are they going to say that works in their context of their world? I don't know. Maybe she can just do it. But that was my favorite moment of the trailer.
Agreed. Gio?
Gio.
I think this whole Marvel presentation did a huge favor for what Jacob was saying about
Which
Phase
Jacob?
4.
Because there's 3 of them.
Sorry, Jacob.
London, Berlin, or you can just call Jake. London and Berlin.
Because we now have a heading, right? Like we theorized Secret Wars was coming, but there was no confirmation about that, and it feels like now we have more of a direction, an idea of where all these stories are going towards. And you know, I think Phase 4, when we look back on it, we're gonna look back on how much COVID impacted these movies, right? And how much the productions got delayed, or how they had to, like switch things at last minute. I think about like No Way Home, as much as that movie was an achievement, it was affected by COVID. I look at characters like Sandman, Lizard, and just some of the production values of it, and you can tell like, okay, this is something that they had to do. Like I think about the ending of Shang-Chi and that little battle and how it felt different from the rest of the movie. And and arguably the biggest question mark was Black Panther Wakanda Forever for all the reasons that have been mentioned. The COVID, obviously, Chadwick Boseman, and Wakanda Forever was a trailer or a movie that we were all, I don't want to say we were excited about. We were cautiously optimistic because it's Ryan Coogler, Kevin Feige, and all the interviews throughout the production about the cast coming together and using their grief to tell a powerful story, which, I mean, my God, you watch the trailer, it's just like they do not shy away from the elephant in the room. This will be an emotional experience. I mean, just the music selection, the beautiful cover of No Woman, No Cry, the shot of Shuri looking out, on the sunset, of Angela Bassett, who, by the way, just in that little trailer acted her ass off. I mean, my God, what a queen Angela Bassett is. And
Oscar nomination for a trailer. There we go. Just like, damn.
yeah.
From just a trailer.
And I have theories. I've heard things about Wakanda Forever. And
Okay, Insider Geo.
That's
good.
all.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm not saying what I heard is official or anything like that, but I will say quite a bit.
So
did get
you go some rumors,
so.
I guess.
All right,
Yeah,
so okay, I do want to stay on Wakanda Forever for just a quick second.
I didn't talk about it at all. I wanted to point it out a couple things too, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to read a Streamlabs that actually relates to a little bit of DC, and we can answer this very quickly. I missed it. This is from Tim Sim. Thank you, Tim. He says, so relating to DC, I assume they're saving others like Aquaman sequel for DC fandom. What about The Flash, since we have no updates to hear of SDCC?
Oh
Really?
my goodness.
They're staying as far away from that as they possibly can.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna mention
ahead,
just
Jacob.
one
Quickly,
thing.
just
I'm gonna
quickly.
say this one thing.
Okay.
They ain't saving shit for DC fandom, and here's why. You telling me that you've got Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman and you could have had him walk out on stage during Comic-Con?
Thank you.
No. No. If you don't do that, you're not talking about this movie. And I think they are in full panic mode. And this weekend was the evidence that Warner Brothers right now are in full panic mode, and they have no idea what the fuck to do with this movie.
Facts.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
quickly,
I don't want to
Gio,
get
quickly.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but the Amber Heard stuff, they're still like, okay, like that's still a thing. It's died down, but it's still a thing. Ezra Miller and what's going on. I mean,
if
right?
like I said,
go ahead.
if they had brought him on stage and just if they'd brought him on stage and talked about Batgirl, I'd been like, okay, maybe they've got something that they've got an idea of what they're doing with Flash. The fact that during Comic-Con, Michael Keaton's coming back to play his most iconic role ever, and you didn't bring him out, you've got no idea what you're doing with this movie, and you're terrified. You are genuinely terrified, and it's heartbreaking to see, because I really think we're not going to see Michael Keaton's return to Batman on the big screen.
Well, and to cut them some slack, this situation is not necessarily like.
Oh no, it's not their fault.
It's Ezra Miller. So like, I mean, they could have got rid of them a long time ago, which that's on them. But the new regime has to deal with this now, and like, what the hell are they supposed to do? Like, what would you do? We have no idea.
That's one thing to point out. Like Warner Brothers Discovery, they inherited all of this.
Yeah,
and I've no problem. I've said it before about what they did give us and not making any promises, like 2014 when they announced a full slate and then two movies in, they just abandoned the whole thing. But Jacob's on point. Jacob London's on point, and Jacob, you got points too. But Michael Keaton not at Hall H. The Flash movie comes out in June before the next Comic-Con. You're not. No, they're not saving it for DC fandom, because this past year's DC fandom, Jacob London and I had to sit through it, and it was nothing like the first year. It was a huge letdown. I will quickly say though, Zack Snyder will be on an episode of Teen Titans Go. Looking forward
Okay,
to that.
moving on back to Black Panther
Voicing
Wakanda
it,
Forever,
yeah.
everybody.
I had to mention that.
I wanna ask two questions, and I think I have to, as the host, I gotta ask the inevitable question. How do we think that they're gonna be handling the passing of T'Challa when it comes to the MCU and Black Panther Wakanda Forever specifically? How do you think we're gonna be seeing this?
If I'm I think they could be tying they could actually make this a thing going forward in the MCU. And I think it would be, I don't know how you would exactly get away with it, but have the blip be causing something.
Oh, like a sickness from the blip.
I don't know what
Ooh.
exactly or how you would do it, but it's affecting certain people. I don't know, like maybe I don't know if that's a way of doing it. Look, I don't know how. In all honesty, they're probably not going to address it. Like he's probably going to. He passed away between movies, and this movie's about honoring him, and they're not going to say exactly what caused it. I think it would be disingenuous if Namor kills him. I think that would be a little too far.
Mhm.
I don't want to see someone killed him. Or unless that someone is a straight up villain going forward. But that's kind of where I'm at with this is I don't think we're going to get a concrete, this is how he died. I think we're just going to get T'Challa passed away and we're currently mourning. Yeah. And that's where we're at.
I get behind that.
Yeah, because you can't physically show him like getting like just in the Black Panther suit getting beat up by Namor and he dies. Like there's no way to do it. But go ahead, Gio.
No, you're right on point, Jacob Bartley. There's no right way to do it. You're gonna have opinions no matter what. I guarantee you, this movie comes out, there's gonna be people who said they should have went about like this or like that. I trust Ryan Coogler and Marvel to handle this with complete respect and be very sensitive. From what I've heard through other YouTube channels, it appears we may have already seen a funeral like ceremony in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think them white, in white because you can see Shuri carrying the helmet.
Oh
yeah. I'm guessing that's a funeral scene. I don't think. Look, people are taking Bassett's speech of "I have lost my entire family" as meaning Shuri also dies in this movie. I do not think that's the case. I think that's during. I honestly think that speech is during the
blip
snap.
Oh,
that's what Gordon said it in the chat too. He said he thinks that the whole movie takes place in the middle of the 5 year.
I don't think it. No, because Shuri's back in it, and there's people in it, and I don't think that that's how they would handle it. I mean, it'd be interesting if that's how they do. If they do it during that, it is set during the blip. But I do think I think the blip is what's going to cause Namor to come out. Like I think that's very. I agree with that. I do want to say one thing that keeps getting brought up about this movie, and that there is no way it is true. Like I'm just gonna there's no way it's true outside of maybe a post-credit scene. That doesn't count. Dr. Doom is not the third act villain. There is no way in hell he is the third act villain because
100% no.
It would have been leaked already. It would have been leaked and the cast would have been announced. Third act, don't get me wrong. Post-credit scene where he's on set for half a day or shrouded in the freaking mask the entire time. Okay. That I could see happening and that I could actually get behind. No way in hell is he the actual third act villain.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think because of certain movies that were announced, it wouldn't surprise me if he was in a post-credit scene. I think that makes a lot more sense. I mean, that's kind of what Marvel's been doing lately, right? They're like Clea in Multiverse of Madness.
A certain character in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Pip and God, who's the God? What's his name? Harry
Thanos'
Styles.
brother. Yeah.
Sure.
Arrows.
Yeah.
Arrows.
Yeah. And so like it wouldn't
I think
Yeah.
I think a post credit scene for Doom is probably. I have a higher percentage than probably most, but I definitely think that at some point during the movie there will be some kind of Easter egg, like a Doctor Strange and Winter Soldier type of Easter
Or
egg.
Latveria.
Yeah, like
mentioned.
where
Yeah.
Latveria is mentioned, or you see
Latveria's
something or
getting
whatever.
Latveria's getting mentioned in this movie.
Yeah, like
And
there
he
are
has
100%
connections to these characters too.
Yeah, well,
which
they're
is the
100% setting
thing.
up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying they're setting up the character, but this is going to be the first ever connection to that character in the MCU, whether it just be the country name, a logo, whatever. It's 100% happening in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
What's the name of his company? Von Doom Enterprises or something?
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
it's changed that many bloody times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say a few quick things about. Did you have another question, Jake?
No, no, you're good. You're
I
good.
just want to say like two quick things about Wakanda Forever before we move on. So you guys know, like, there's a few months ago, I was not paying attention to any movie news at all. I don't know when the news announced that Namor was officially in the movie. It must have
This
been
weekend.
This week
Was
it
it?
was leaked. All the images
Officially,
were leaked,
yeah.
but it was never officially
Okay, and I
confirmed.
also avoid leaks and rumors, so
Yeah.
that's probably why I didn't see it.
It's been rumored forever that Namor was the
I
villain.
mean, we've been talking about it for years. That
It's the worst kept secret in the world.
we've been talking about it for
It
years,
was
right?
one of the
After we
worst
saw
kept
the first
secrets.
Black Panther movie.
Next to Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, so
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that
it's-
Namor
yeah.
was the villain of this movie, and that this
getting
actor was playing
official
Namor.
confirmation that Namor's in this was like, I was so hyped, and I had no idea that they were going the Aztec angle with the Atlanteans, and that they had a
Well, for
Mexican actor.
him, because there's different Atlanteans.
Oh, okay. So at least for his tribe of Atlanteans, they're going that route, and they have a Mexican actor playing Namor. I absolutely love that. And
Yep, me too.
I was looking at the dude's IMDb, and he like Tino Huerta, and he just only works in Spanish productions and things like that. So that is
What's up, bro?
awesome. I also had no idea that Ironheart was
Yeah,
going
man.
to
Yeah.
premiere in this movie.
Super
So
dope. Super dope.
I was excited for Ironheart. Cool, they're doing Ironheart. She's being introduced by Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler is going to give us her origin story, basically, in this movie. At least that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I am all for that. And you know what that does? Everybody's going to know who Ironheart is after this movie.
Yeah,
And it
I'm
sets up
pumped.
the show for so much more success.
I can't
So
wait to see that suit of hers. She's gonna look sick. It's gonna look so
and
good.
Shuri's going to help her.
It's gonna
like-
look so cool.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, I
there-
want to
oh.
spend. Oh, go ahead, Gio. Go ahead.
Just real quick, I was looking for it because I came across it today on Twitter that Namor will not be the ruler of Atlantis in the MCU, but will be the ruler of
It's a different name.
Oh,
Talokan. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a different name.
Oh,
Talokan,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
I like that.
It makes sense because Aquaman's going. Like it just makes sense.
They don't even have to have
Yeah.
Atlantis. Like, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, like right now, Atlantis, I wouldn't be like, yeah, you just like, you know what? Let's not touch Atlantis.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we have a lot more to talk about. I want to run through the titles that are for Phase 5 before we discuss everything that's happening, and then we can finish off with Phase 6 and maybe some things that we want to discuss there. This is Phase 5, and this is from February of 2023 to July of 2024. So just a year and a half. These are the projects that are coming out in order. So we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Secret Invasion, the television show, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Echo on the television show. We have Loki Season 2 on Disney Plus as well, The Marvels. Then we have Blade, confirmed from November of next year. Ironheart will come out fall of next year. Agatha Coven of Chaos, which was renamed, which is winter of 2023. And then the big announcement, which was 18 episodes, Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus, spring of 24. Captain America 4, New World Order, which is going to be May of 24. And then ending Phase 5 will be Thunderbolts, which comes out July of 2024. Let's focus on these names, fellas. What do we got?
I'll save the big criticism for later. Okay, let's go hype. Let's go hype. I think that look, Daredevil's the big one. And it being 18 episodes is the big one. There's a reason they ended on it. There's a reason that he went, hey, he's back. They're coming back. We're doing 18 episodes. That's awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm beyond excited for that, and I just cannot wait. I think that's going to be so good. I'm hoping it doesn't have the Netflix problem of the middle episode sagging, but we'll see what happens. The 18 episodes is what fascinates me the most, because they're clearly doing a TV show now. Like, they're clearly like, oh, this is borderline network television. Like, like it's the most I've ever seen a streaming service do for a big budget TV show. So I'm wondering if it's kind of going to also be like a borderline second season of She-Hulk.
That's possible. I mean, I definitely think there's a chance we're going to see a lot of other characters pop up in Daredevil.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, 100%.
What was interesting during the announcement, and I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, when they announced it, Kevin Feige said the first season. He said the first season will be 18 episodes.
Look, I'm
smart.
The Netflix shows are canon. They're I will put money that the Netflix shows are multiverse. That they're gonna go. They're in a different universe. That they may have happened to this Daredevil, but it could have been slightly different.
So do you mean all of them? Like even like Captain America and Winter Soldier?
No, just the Netflix stuff. Just the Netflix.
The Netflix shows. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Netflix shows are going to. I think that they're going to very much be something like this kind of happened to him.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but we also have creative license to be able to do whatever the hell we want. So I think that's why you're going to see it be very much this is the first time we are seeing this version of Daredevil. I think we are now getting our MCU Daredevil. But
yeah, it's the only thing that comes to mind when you say that is all the teasers and promotional, the marketing for specifically Daredevil and Jessica Jones is that I could have swore the Avengers Tower was in the background. Was it not? But
it's multiverse, it doesn't matter. Like, it's multiverse.
So it could have been maybe another.
It was
Avengers.
In a poster. We never saw it in the actual show.
But even then, you just go, there's an Avengers Tower. There's Avengers Tower in 818. Like, there was a Doctor Strange and an X-Men. Like, it's I think that's where we're getting to. We're getting to Crisis on Infinite Earth Marvel Edition. Like, where basically, if we didn't do it, it's not in it's not in 616 or whatever else is. I can't remember.
Yeah, 616.
Yeah, like I think that's very much where they're going to go moving forward. Is unless Kevin Feige himself produced it and worked on it, it's not 616.
Okay, so before we move on, because I want to move this conversation along so we can get to kind of like maybe some things that we're worried about and stuff. I do want to bring on Keith. He is here to kind of continue the conversation with us. What is up, man?
I am Groot.
What's up,
That could mean anything.
Okay, so Keith, we are currently on phase 5. I want to continue this conversation, and I know we can't cover every single project that's on here. So what I want to do is I want to ask the same question to everybody, and I want everybody to bring up a property that we can talk about for a certain amount of time, and then we'll move on from the phase once we all get a chance to bring one up. All right, we've already talked about Daredevil, so that's off the board. So Jacob Bartley, I'm going to go to you first. What is something that we can talk about right now about phase 5 from those movies or projects that I mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I would have brought up Daredevil if he didn't. I didn't get to say 18 episodes. We're basically going to be in the MCU year round now. I mean, we kind of already are, but we're going to have year round MCU. So that's crazy. But Thunderbolts is phase 5, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the finale of phase 5.
So look, there's a ton of stuff in phase 5. But other than Daredevil, I might be most excited for that movie because of Yelena Belova. She is one of my favorite characters currently in the MCU. Black Widow is a solid movie for me. I like it. Villain is trash, but I like it. Yelena is amazing in that movie, and everything she does and says is gold. And then she comes into Hawkeye, and she's gold in that too. And not just that. I mean, there's a possibility that she might be like the in-battle leader of that team, which I think she's completely capable of. But you also are going to have Gio, your favorite character. What's his name?
Abomination.
U.S. agent, baby.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
You're gonna have U.S. agents. Jake's doppelganger. You're gonna have a bunch of different characters, and it like that movies can essentially be, their Suicide Squad in a way. And I don't think it's gonna be rated R, but it's gonna be one of their edgier PG-13 movies. And I mean, it could be rated R. Deadpool's gonna be rated R, even though we don't know where it stands exactly in the universe. But I know we already knew. We didn't find anything new about Thunderbolts, right? Other than the release date and that it ends.
No, the Thunderbolts movie was confirmed a few weeks ago. We just didn't have the release date, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like it's brand new. And
there's nothing new.
We have basically the entire team. Like the entire team has already been introduced.
Is there anybody that we didn't mention or?
Well, so there's U.S. Agent, there's Abomination,
Yeah.
there's Yelena. There will be. I mean, people are saying that possibly Taskmaster and Ghost are a possibility.
I think Zemo.
Maybe-
I think
Zemo. Zemo's
yeah.
the obvious one. Yes, Zemo for sure. So there's 6 options right there.
Yeah. And I
Maybe
love
even
Daniel
Bucky.
Brühl. Oh,
yeah,
Bucky,
Well,
yeah,
Bucky.
Bucky's a possibility.
Yeah. And as long as I go to the nightclub at least once. then
Thunderbolts is
we're good.
extremely intriguing. And I love the idea of it. It's all like people compare it to Suicide Squad. I get it. It's a little different, but I'm just curious how it all fits into everything.
And it
I really
ends
am.
the phase too.
Yeah,
which-
like it ends the phase. It's it's not an Avengers style movie with but it could end up being like a universe like cataclysmic type of movie where it really affects things that come in after it.
Well,
And
I
so
know
I'm very curious
like
how
Jake,
it kind
you
of
love the ground and pound, hand to hand combat stuff, and I think there's
100%, man.
Like
Yeah.
this is gonna like in Avengers, you have people flying and everybody's in the sky and all that stuff.
Shooting
This,
lasers.
they're all gonna be like
I
on a
hope-
platform,
I-
like
100%.
punching each other. Yeah,
I hope it's the less universe wide scope move. I hope it's just on the ground and they go to town on each other.
Yeah. Do you think from the lineup that we know, like, do you agree that Yelena could be like the on-field general?
It's
basically?
100% going to be her or U.S. Agent. I feel like it's going to
Yeah.
be U.S. Agent because of what's her name
He's
recruiting
Captain America or
Yeah.
whatever. But I think she's more like more mentally stable. I don't know.
I
would
think
say so.
she's going to be General Ross given William Hurt's passed away. I think she replaces General Ross.
That's a good call. Oh, you're talking about not Yelena, but what's her name?
Val.
Oh no, sorry, not Yelena. Sorry, yeah,
Val.
Val.
Elaine.
Yeah, Julia
Yeah.
Louis-Dreyfus.
yeah. I think she's very much that's going to be her role.
For sure.
Yeah,
Is-
for sure.
100%.
She replaces William Hurt.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, is anybody like Gio, Jacob, Keith? Are you guys looking forward to Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't take the fact that it's ending the phase as an indicator because we've had an
True.
Ant-Man movie end the phase. We've had
Good call. Good
we've
Oh,
had a
and
Spider-
No Way Home or Far From Home ended a phase too. which
Yeah,
was-
like
it was
the
after
phases.
Endgame.
Yeah, and WandaVision started off this phase. Like Black Widow was meant to. Like it's not. The phases have and Feige's even said this. The phases are kind of there and more as a marketing gimmick, if anything, than an actual take this with a great take this as definitive biggest ending ever of this period of the So I wouldn't take that with any form of like fear that it's or belief that this is going to be a massive movie because it's ending the phase. Probably
Good
not.
point. It's a really good point.
Sharon being the power broker, that's I think going to tie into Thunderbolts more than Captain America.
So
But
you,
I actually do think
okay.
I think it is interesting that we go Captain America and then straight into Thunderbolts. There's not anything in between.
There's a
think
2
that
there's a
is
2 month gap. 2 month
Oh,
gap.
they're
between
gonna
the
be
two.
connected
For sure.
I
Yeah.
would say so. Yeah,
For sure. And I'm not. This isn't one that I was going to mention, but I'm so freaking stoked for New World Order. So stoked.
Oh,
So stoked.
Yeah,
of
I'm
course,
excited. I
yeah.
think New World Order is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that. I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to be going on there, because
A lot of stuff.
they had a good with the what Flag Smasher thing going on. Like it's a short series. I mean, 6 episodes, but I think they went into that as much as they probably could have. I wonder if there are any residual effects from that, because that was all obviously the effects of the snap and what effect that had on the rest of the world. People that were gone and then them coming back. Obviously, we know all that, but I wonder if they're going to tap into more of that, and like sort of like when a dictator falls and kind of all the chaos that comes up out of that. I wonder if that's kind of what's going on in New World Order.
It would. I mean, it would make sense. It would fit the build for sure to kind of pick up from like where the pieces were from the Falcon and Winter Soldier. All right, Gio, turn is yours, man. What is one project from Phase 5 that you're going to bring up? Please bring up the one that I hope you're going to bring up. Please do it. Please do it.
I don't know, Jake, because I was going to get into Captain America New World Order, but that's kind of already been, touched on a little bit. So I'm going to go to Blade.
Yes!
Marvel's Blade. They got a star. They got a director. They got the Whistler. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They have a director. It's
Bassam
what's
Tariq.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Indie director. Yeah. And I believe they have the Whistler, right? That was reported. It was Delroy Lindo from.
They say he's Whistler.
I think it's reported, but not confirmed.
Yeah, I don't think he's confirmed yet. Yeah, good call. Good call.
Is he? He's in it though. I don't think they said he was Whistler, right? Isn't that what? Or is that what?
I think that's
no.
more
So
the
far,
speculation.
Ali is the only one confirmed. Mahershala is the only person confirmed for this movie.
Okay.
Right. So maybe they'll confirm it at D23.
Oh, I mean, this comes from November of 2021 of Hollywood Reporter. Marvel's Blade cast Delroy Lindo.
I know that's the big rumor, but it hasn't been confirmed.
Sure.
I'm a little that is something about Blade that I was a little shocked. I really thought we'd get a full cast announcement for Blade.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
Like that was the one that I was shocked about, that given we pretty much have a cast announcement for everything other than Thunderbolts, I really thought we would get Blade for this one. But that's probably a D23 thing. They probably, okay. I'm gonna do this really quick because I will forget this.
Sure.
I think a genuine criticism of both Marvel, of how Marvel are handling both Comic-Con and D23. I really would have split it. I would have gone either all phase 5 here and don't even touch upon phase 6 at all, or all movies here, TV at D23. I'm a little shocked that they're kind of just like, hey, we're going to give half here, half there, instead of making Comic-Con either one or the other. Like, it's Comic-Con for movies, D23 for TV, or the other way around, or something. Like, I just was a little shocked at how they were just basically like, hey, this is half of our panel. See you in 2 months.
It's fair.
But anyway.
Kind of like a cliffhanger kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Gio, I'm so happy you brought up Blade, man, because this, I think, outside of something like Daredevil and Captain America New World Order, I think Blade is the one that like stands out to me the most in this phase, just because you have Mahershala. Like, it's Mahershala Ali playing Blade. And Rue brought it up in the comments, but also this post-credit scene from Eternals. Will we get Black Knight in this movie as well? Kit Harington, kind of almost a team up, right? That is super, super cool. I don't know if a rating has been confirmed. Obviously, it's very early on, but I would love to see a very dark R-rated Blade movie. I think that'd be amazing. I doubt they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it. But just having Mahershala play this character and bringing the character back after those Wesley Snipes films and entering him in this larger world of the MCU is going to be super, super cool. Because he is a very important character to a lot of stories that can be told.
Well, he was on The Breakfast Club last year after Eternals came out. And he talked about he was kind of hesitant and a little stressed. I don't know, just kind of paraphrasing, I don't know exactly what he said, but about that post-credit scene in Eternals, because there wasn't, or at least at that time, there wasn't a director, and he hadn't figured out like the voice, like how Blade's even going to sound yet, and so which I found that interesting, which made me think, sort of like Jacob, what you were just talking about. It's kind of surprising that we didn't get more Blade stuff here. Maybe they're going to do it at D23, but I was expecting to hear more about Blade. Not necessarily images, but like I said, at least cast, or maybe, I don't know, maybe some images. I don't know if it's shooting or not, but
no,
I think it's
shooting it.
I think it shoots this fall. I think is what it
it
said.
starts in October. Okay. That's why I was a little shocked they didn't do a cast, because it shoots in October.
Right.
But I guess D23 is in September, so hey, they're shooting next week, and here is the cast. I think that probably makes more sense actually. Now
they didn't bring any cast, right? To
Marvel. It was Guardians.
Oh, Guardians, right?
Black Panther 2,
Ant-Man,
and Ant-Man are the three that they brought cast out for.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like as far as like the big panel stuff, you're right. Like bringing people out. The last Comic-Con we saw with Marvel, they brought out Mahershala. The one before that, they brought out Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. We didn't really get like that big thing this time. I know they ended on the Black Panther 2 trailer, which I think was kind of the big thing. But you're right, we didn't really get that big announcement.
To me, the one more thing was Endgame. Was Avengers.
Two movies.
That was their one more thing. But they also wanted to end on the Black Panther trailer because they knew that emotionally was going to be the thing. They did what the Oscars tried to do. And, it actually worked because, hey, they planned it and they could do it. That's what they were going for. They was like, hey, everyone, let's have this emotional grieving moment and end on that, rather than, because it would have felt like, it would have been very dismissive, and I don't think it would have worked if after the Black Panther trailer they went, oh, and one more thing, here's Avengers Secret Wars in Kang Dynasty. I think that would have come across really
good call.
Yeah, I don't think that would have come across.
It would have overshadowed.
It would have come across as we're just pushing him to the side. I think so. They were kind of between a rock and a hard place of we have our one more thing, but our one more thing's got to be before our last thing, because the last thing is the emotional goodbye.
It's a good call. That's a really good call. Any final thoughts on Blade before we move on to the next project?
I think we've said all we can be.
We don't know anything about it.
So I know.
Not much to say.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns.
I think somebody mentioned that in the comments. That's definitely in the cards.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So.
Agreed. All right, Keith, it's your turn. I'm going to read these projects off so you can pick one that we can talk about. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Echo, Loki 2, The Marvels, Blade, which was talked about, Ironheart, Agatha, Covenant Chaos. We've talked about Daredevil. We talked about Captain America: New World Order, and we talked about Thunderbolts. What do you got for us?
Okay, first of all, this one's coming up soon. So, number one, and Gio and Jacob, they saw my reaction to this, but come on, man. She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh,
love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Big She-Hulk with Thanos, bro. Jake, I wish you could have seen me watching that trailer. But anyway,
he freaked out.
So I can't wait for that. But well, Blade, of course. But I think Secret Invasion.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a big one.
that's a big event.
It's gonna be a big one.
Well, and I don't know. Did they say how many episodes that's going to be? That can't be 6 episodes. 'Cause that's a
No,
big-
It
I'm
might be. Hang
yeah.
on.
I mean, if they're hour-long episodes, it's gonna range in the 6 to 8 range.
Well, yeah, because I
6
would have always.
episodes.
That's 2 movies right there.
Well,
Like-
Keith, you also have to keep in mind that it's probably gonna play into the Marvels. Is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a good.
Not
point.
only that, I think it's also going to play into Captain America and Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
probably setting up a lot that's just coming forth, so you can
Mm.
kind of like almost look at it as just like an introduction into
Yeah.
what's coming.
If they're going to start out, because that's a. I mean, everybody here, we all know that's a big event. You know, I mean,
I'm so
Skrulls
pumped for this
taking over the
show.
world.
I'm
Me
so
too.
excited for this show. I think it's
Well,
gonna be
and-
super cool.
And then they announced that, of course, Rhodey, Don Cheadle's Rhodey's going to be in it. 'Cause
Yeah.
we didn't. 'cause
And
Armor
Maria
Wars
Hill,
is-
which Maria Colby Smulders came out for the show.
Yeah.
When they showed the
Awesome.
footage, it was just Comic-Con exclusive. So Maria Hill, Rhodey, we have Nick Fury, we have Talos, and then Amelia Clark has also been casted in the show.
Yes,
So there's a
which
quite a
amazing.
good cast for this one.
Well, because we thought, as a lot of people, that when they announced Armor Wars a year and a half ago or whatever, that and I don't maybe not they're still doing that, who
Noticeably
knows?
absent.
Right.
That's the one that
Right.
they've announced that they haven't dated.
And
That's
that's
the one.
from thinking back. I was thinking about that earlier. That's got to be the first time I think that they've done that, where they've announced a thing and then kind of just didn't do it. And now they may still be doing it. We don't know.
Inhumans.
They made the TV show though. They made the TV show. There wasn't an Inhuman show. They had a whole season.
The movie.
So I'm talking about that they didn't do at all. They did announce a thing and then didn't do it.
Talk to Vin Diesel.
So, hey, I am Groot.
Secret
But,
Invasion, guys. Secret
Yes,
Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm curious. It'll deviate from the comics like everything does, which is fine. But I'm curious to see how they tell that story because that's a hell of a story. And I wonder if they'll incorporate Deadpool because he had a big part in the comics. So I want to incorporate him into that. And yeah, I'm curious to see the scroll. Up until now, the scrolls have been nice. So I want to see if it's whatever it is that makes some.
Well, I
Skrulls
mean,
bad. I'm curious.
Remember the last time we saw Nick Fury, he was heading off into space. Like he was doing his thing in space.
Have you guys actually read the description of the trailer?
No, I have not.
Oh no!
Okay.
But I want
So
to.
it's meant to be dark. It's dark. This is going to be the darkest
Wow.
show they've done yet.
Nice.
Fury has been on the ship for years, and years, to the point where they're hit. What I read and what it was hinted that we may have never actually seen this Fury except in Captain Marvel. That this is the first time we've ever actually seen Fury.
So that Fury the entire time has been a scroll?
That's
Damn.
what I
See, we
read.
said that.
What I read
That
is
would be
it's-
so
that's
weird.
what's hinted at, that this is the
Damn.
first time we are actually seeing Fury.
That would
See,
be
that's interesting.
wild.
Because we said that people were saying that after Captain Marvel. It's like, what if this Fury has been a scroll this whole time? And the directors of that were like, no, that's not true.
Yeah. So
That's
So I'm curious where this is going, but it's
Damn.
going to be dark. It's going to, and the trailer was very quick and showed glimpses of pretty much everyone. Kingsley,
I'm so in on that
Kingsley's
idea.
playing
So
Kingsley's
in.
playing the main villain. Olivia Colman plays an old ally of Fury, they're allies. So I'm curious where this is going to go, but
I'm so in on that idea.
Yeah.
So in on that
About
idea.
the Nick Fury thing?
Yeah,
But
so
what about
in
when
on
they
that idea.
all right, so they blip at the end of what movie was that? Him and Maria Hill blip.
Infinity War.
Captain Marvel.
Infinity
Oh,
War.
Infinity War. Sorry, Infinity War. You're right.
Yeah,
right,
so
right.
wouldn't they,
Infinity War.
revert back to their scroll form right before they blip or something? And
No,
you
you
know
never know.
what? Those are the only two characters that we didn't see come back from the blip.
No.
We don't know
The
where they
next
were.
time
Yeah, we do.
the next time we saw them was in Far From Home.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Stark's funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
great point.
Good call.
is
Good
Stark's
call.
funeral.
But like they
Good
weren't
call.
at the endgame battle, what they shouldn't have been
No.
anyway.
Yeah,
They should
but
not
like
be there.
no, you are
Yeah.
right in that. They could do it. They might not. They could.
Yeah.
They're probably going to pull their punch. If we're being honest, they'll pull it and be like, he was like post snap. He's been in space just
Yeah.
because. Like that's probably what.
Well,
they're
and
going
where's
to
Maria
do.
Hill? Because the Maria Hill in No Way Home was a scroll.
So
Or it's Far From Home.
yeah,
tell
but
us,
this one,
wife.
but the Maria
Only
Hill
Nick Fury
see in the
knows.
trailer.
Yeah.
The Maria Hill we see in the trailer is the Maria Hill. But again, it's a spy espionage thriller about a
Interesting.
secret invasion.
I can't wait.
You
for this
can
show.
literally,
I'm
like,
so
I
excited for this
wouldn't
show.
be surprised if
Like, so
anyone is in a
excited.
scroll.
They'll
Goodness
reveal in the
gracious,
last
that's
episode
crazy.
that somebody you never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
something
that-
like
and
that.
it's- yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what the beauty of a spy thriller is.
Yeah.
This thing's going to be filled with so many twists and turns that you're just like, what the hell is going on? But yeah.
Because that was Jacob. I know you love you talk about the animated series all the time. The Avengers.
Oh,
The
Earth's
animated
Mightiest
one.
Heroes.
Yeah, it's like that was
Mhm.
several episodes of that, and it was. It was.
I felt like a whole season, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I think it might have been that whole second season. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
So that's a it's huge.
Okay, so there are a couple things that that can be talked about with this phase, but I know that we want to save some discussion for the next phase. The projects that we didn't really get to talk about were Ant-Man 3. There was a teaser shown for that. Heard it looked great. Get the first appearance of Kang, which I heard looked great. You get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which the cast was very emotional on stage talking about this, and Rocket Raccoon's origin story, and a lot of cool details
Were
with that
Bradley
movie.
Cooper and Vin Diesel there too?
No,
Oh,
Mm.
okay. It
Nah,
should
Vin
have been.
Diesel's making Fast 10 and 11 and 12.
first look. Also, the first look at Adam Warlock in that trailer. So hopefully we get that trailer sometime soon. Maybe D23 they drop something for us. Echo, The Marvels, Loki 2, Ironheart, Agatha, Covenant Chaos are the other projects that are released this phase that we haven't talked about. Does anybody want to say anything very quickly before we move on to phase 6?
I've
just not
seen the leaked
expect-
trailers.
I've seen
Have
some
you?
of them. I've seen some of them.
Man, y'all ain't ready.
Like, look, Guardians looks cool. Again, I would 50 years from now, when they can actually tell the stories, I would kill to find out if James Gunn wanted to kill Gamora,
Yeah,
because I don't think he did. Because the
Yeah.
fact that his final film is now the search for Gamora instead of the final like, this isn't going to be a trilogy, it's a trilogy plus 3 other films that you kind of got to watch in between. So
Good
I
point.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Although he said,
which I also felt the same. I felt the same thing about Thor. If you asked Taika, I would guarantee you that he would not have. And if Taika could have done anything he wanted with setting up where Thor is at the start of Thor 4, it wouldn't have been with the Guardians, and he wouldn't have abandoned Asgard. I can guarantee you that. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, he did say. I think I do agree, but I think he said that. Or I saw or heard a quote that he said, everybody's expecting everybody to die, and he said this is going to be the end of some of these character stories. It's not necessarily that they're going to be dead. It's just their part in this version of the Guardians is going to be over.
yeah.
Yeah. They can go off and do different things.
I don't think it'll be. Look, I think it'll be like Endgame. There will be characters who have their finale, who
And just
have
move
their
on.
ending. I think Chris Pratt's done. I think
Dave Bautista's definitely done.
Batista's definitely
this is done. Like, I think there are certain people who are done. I will. There is no way in hell Groot is done. There is no way. Like, no, and same with Rocket. I think Rocket, Groot.
I don't think Nebula's done. I think Nebula's going to.
Yeah, Nebula as well. Like, I think pretty much they're the ones who are going to stay, who are going to stick around, because one, they're cheap, and two, they're they've got other stories that they can tell.
Has Chris Pratt said anything hinting that he's done after this?
No, but he's also really expensive.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't.
And he's-
I think Chris Pratt's sticking around. maybe not. I'm just saying in the MCU in general. But,
No, he might. I just, but
Yeah.
like, I think Marvel are also trying a lot of these actors.
well, they have so many other stories to tell and characters to
Well, James Gunn
Yeah.
has said that this is his finale, and
Yeah,
like
it's-
whatever Marvel's gonna do afterwards. I mean, maybe they pay all the money in the world to keep Chris Pratt around because he is a star, and others. But I think this is the last time we're gonna see Rocket. Honestly, just based on
I don't.
what
I
I've heard
don't
about the
because
trailer.
Rocket's, look, I don't, and the only reason I say that is because Rocket's cheap. Because
He has a voice,
Because it's a voiceover and it's CGI.
It takes
it
takes
like
2 hours to record, and that's it.
Like realistically, you're like, and when I say cheap, I'm not meaning like actual. Like I'm more meaning it as a. Marvel are not going to get rid of characters that are bankable, and they do not have to pay a licensing fee. So like they're not going to do that.
No, you have good
and they
points there.
could get other people to voice the characters if those actors want to move on. They can.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
the truth.
Just get somebody who sounds like Bradley Cooper. And there you go.
Well, apparently, because Tom Holland is not voicing the animated Spider-Man. Apparently,
Well, Keith, we talked about that. We talked about how the animated shows are essentially multiverse stories, which is what we came to a theory wise, which is why he's not voicing him. But all right, so here we go. Phase 6. We only got 3 announcements regarding Phase 6, but they are 3 pretty big announcements. The kickoff of Phase 6 will happen on November 8th, and that is in 2024 with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four will kick off. There is a date in front of it, so there could be some shifting around. It says fall 2024, but the first official date of Phase 6 is in November for Fantastic Four, and then you skip all the way ahead to May 2nd of 2025, and we have Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and then about 5 or 6 months later, on November 7th, 2025, we have Avengers Secret Wars. We have 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. I'll just say this. From the beginning of Phase 6 to the end, there are 11 projects from the fall of 2024 until November of 2025, which ends with Avengers Secret Wars. Obviously, the first time, at a minimum, you're correct. Things could obviously change, shift, additions, whatever. But those are the only dates at the moment that were announced at Comic-Con. And look, this is the first time we're getting 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. We knew Fantastic Four was coming, but now there's an official release date. It is just over 2 years away. Let's get into it, gentlemen, because these are obviously 3 giant movies on what Marvel has coming in the future. There's not really much to discuss with Fantastic Four because there's not a whole lot happening. But if anybody has anything to say about it, we can start with that and then move on to the Avengers films.
We have to get a casting announcement and director at
coming
D23,
at D23,
right?
It
has to. And I think the only reason why it didn't happen at Comic-Con is because what we talked about earlier, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That's probably the only reason why it didn't happen.
Overshadow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that far away.
All right.
It's interesting that it starts the phase. I mean, like Blunden was saying, it doesn't really matter necessarily, but I think that's kind of cool that Marvel's first family is going to start.
And we don't know what the universe is going to look like at that point. It's 2.5 years away, and we have like 20 projects coming our way in 2 years. But I'm sure it's placed there for a reason. People are wanting it like next year and the year after, and but it's placed there for a reason for however the universe is going to look at that time.
Push it 1 more week so it's closer to Thanksgiving.
Sorry. Okay. So
go ahead.
There's going to be at least 2 shows that air from Phase 6 that air before Fantastic Four. The reason is 4, and you're not airing them after November. So there is at least 2 shows before then. All right. My biggest issue with what Marvel announced is that they announced 23 projects over 3 years. And it's
a lot.
Infuriating. That is so many. It's so many. And not only that, they announced 23 projects. One of them could be the Spider-Man that is coming. I don't think it is. I think Sony are going to announce their own date and not take one of these dates. I think one of them that it's going to go in there somewhere else, unless it is taking that Christmas 2024 date, which is possible. There is no movie in Christmas 23, which that ain't happening. They're definitely going to release that. Between Blade in November 23 and Captain America in May of 24, there is no movie. There's going to be 2 movies.
There's going to be one at least in February or March for sure.
There'll be one in February and March, and there will be one in Christmas. Guarantee you that. So that's now 25 projects.
Mm-hmm.
At minimum, 25 projects over 3 years.
Wow.
That's a lot. And it's kind of where my biggest issue is right now.
And Samir says this.
No,
Yeah,
so
they just have they don't have official dates. It just says like fall of 24 or spring of 25. And they're all just blank. So we don't know what those slots are, but we're taking guesses on. Yeah, and there's Deadpool 3, which is out there, and
Deadpool 3 is one of them. Shang-Chi 2 is going to be one of them.
Eternals 2 is probably
Eternals 2 probably. I know it didn't do great at the.
They're
box
definitely
office.
making it. They're making a sequel.
They're making another one.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 3 is going to be one of them.
X-Men Phase 6.
X-Men. I'm almost ready to guarantee you is the next saga.
Yeah,
I think mutant, like this saga, the mutant saga is going to be the next.
And I think it's because of what the news has been saying lately that Marvel can't do anything until 2025. They can't touch anything unless they use the previous actors.
Contractual obligations.
A lot of the contracts are still under, so they can't. Yeah. That's why they were able to use.
That's weird.
They were able to use
Xavier
because it was Professor X, but they can't
Jackman.
use.
One more time, Jack.
Look, I think Secret Wars is going to be a lot of cameos. A lot of cameos.
Yeah,
and a lot of Jackman coming back for one last ride. You're probably going to get a lot of those type. Honestly, so's and Tony Stark will be coming back as well.
Chris Evans and Downey. Yep.
On that note, while we're talking about it, I want to bring up what Amaru said a little while ago. He said, interesting theory I've heard. Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are going to be the culmination of 2 different timelines / multiverses with 2 different Avengers teams, which is playing into the fact that we can get a lot of different cameos. It allows you to play with different characters from 2 different worlds and universes and all of that stuff and combine them into one, because we know what Secret Wars is all about. And we heard it in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the incursion event where 2 worlds collide. So it's very possible that's probably what we'll end up seeing.
I think there is a very, very, very real chance, and I don't know which one it's going to be revealed in, but I think there is a very real chance that in one of these movies, they reveal that some of the movies we've been watching have not been in 616. And
that's possible.
We go, what the fuck?
Like Incredible Hulk?
Well.
No, I'm meaning like big movies, like not just a one-off movie. I'm meaning, that one of the Spider-Man movies or something that is all Eternals. Let's say Eternals was not 616. Eternals was a completely different universe, and everything happened. Thanos snapped. Everything happened up until then, but it diverged after the snap, and this multiverse has this and this one, and 616 is.
I think you could be right, because it's literally called the Multiverse Saga. So why would 99% of the movies take place in 616?
All in the same universe. Yeah.
And Eternals definitely fits that bill.
Could you imagine? Hold on a second. Hold on. I got to pause this. Could you imagine, right? The amount of flack that Marvel has gotten over the last 6 to 8 months about where the hell is everything going? And then they keep their mouths shut until that movie happens, and they go, guess what? Not all of that was in the same exact universe. That is the biggest bird to all of the fans who argue without actually ever doing it I've ever heard. Oh my God. Hey,
that's
that
what
would
we
be
do.
listen,
that would be the
That's what we
greatest
do.
thing I've ever seen if they actually
we-
did that. How?
we-
Oh my god!
When we talked a month or so ago, we talked about that episode. Where is all this going? I said that. I was like, listen, be patient. They know what they're doing. I think that's a strong possibility. Listen, Shang-Chi, okay? That post-credit scene in Shang-Chi, we saw regular Banner. Now he still had his arm in a sling, but it was regular Banner. And we were all like, wait, how did that happen? And now we're seeing him again in She-Hulk, and he's the Hulk again. It's our Smart Hulk, So who knows? I think that's a strong, strong possibility.
Oof. Real quick before I share my thought, Blendon, do you think they're holding off on doing anything with December 2023 because that's going to be Avatar 3, right? It's every other year.
24 is Avatar 3. And
Yeah,
then
22
is- and
Yeah.
so and then
Sorry.
and okay, my theory. All right, let's go. I've actually gone deep into
Let's
this.
do it.
All right. 23 so far at the moment is dated for Rogue Squadron. That ain't
Not
it.
happening.
Oh man, don't.
Nope.
Which sucks. I was really excited for Rogue Squadron, but it's not happening. There's reports it'll be the Taika movie. I don't know
The Star
about
Wars
you,
one?
but that's really quick to film a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's
Coming out next year.
Unless
So-
it's
Is that-
very different.
Is
type
the
of story.
Taika movie the Kevin Feige produced one?
no. That's
no.
who's the No Way Home director? What's his name?
John Watts.
Really?
I don't know.
Watts.
I don't know if that's confirmed. If that's
No,
those are the two.
and look,
Wow.
John Watts is doing
the-
the Skeleton Crew TV show, by the way.
yeah. Like I said, look, the Taika one is apparently next, and it apparently starts shooting early next year. Again, this is all we have. We'll probably get a clearer picture of this post D23, but my theory at the moment is that Christmas date is either going to be a Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie. And I think it's probably more leaning towards being a Marvel movie.
Oh,
If it's a Star Wars movie, it's a Star Wars movie.
Star Wars.
2024 is Avatar 3. I have a feeling that the winter 2024 or they've got a date for winter 2024. I have a feeling that's Spider-Man. I think Sony's going to come in and go, that's our date. We're putting it there because it's a different company. We're not going to be competing with
It
Avatar.
makes sense.
A
It
completely
totally makes
different
sense.
company. And the two of them will go and it will be Spider-Man and Avatar and Spider-Man will both be on the same weekend. Or one will be Christmas Day and Avatar will keep the December 16th or 17th date or whatever the normal date that they have is. I think that is likely an outcome that we're going to see going forward, because I just think that I think that Star Wars isn't going to have a movie in the next 2 years. I
agree with that. I agree with that. Which
So I
sucks,
think
but I agree
Disney are
with
going
that.
to have to put all their eggs into the MCU basket.
And to kind of continue the conversation a little bit about the amount of stuff that we're getting, I don't know how I had this conversation with. Maybe it was us in our Apocaflix chat. I'm not sure, but I personally don't feel what is like the superhero fatigue, but I do think that there is too much coming that I could eventually get to that point. There's a lot, and I felt a lot of it this summer, and it wasn't even superhero related, but there was so much content within like a month and a half span from May to like the end of June that I lost track of so much stuff because that was non-Marvel related stuff. I'm obviously going to watch everything, but I am afraid that in the future, if we do have 23 to 25 projects in a 2.5-3 year span, that's a lot of stuff coming our way. Like a
live in front
lot
of your
of
TV.
stuff coming our way. And I love TV more than a lot of people, but that is a ridiculous amount of things that are coming our way in just a 3-year span.
Gio, Jacob, and I said this the other night when we were hanging out. I think I'm there. To be honest.
Oh, I'm
That's
there.
fair.
I've been there for a while. I'm gonna watch
the Marvel stuff I'm gonna watch,
Yes.
but there's some stuff I'm just like, this is a lot, and I just would like to take it back and watch some other stuff. You know,
Yeah.
In the
and,
time,
it's,
here's
go ahead.
the thing that drives me mad. We got at most within a 3-year period, we would have gotten nine projects.
right.
We now have 23. I can't emphasize how much extra that is.
Almost triple.
And the other thing that gets me is I have these shows have been just stretched movies to fulfill a streaming service.
Yeah.
Not one WandaVision was a TV show because they lent heavily into the fact that they were a TV show. And same with What If. I'm not counting What If when I say that because that is very much a TV show. But Miss Marvel, Moon Knight was the worst example for me. Moon Knight would have been an amazing movie. Oh my god, I would have loved that as a movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Loki season 1 is a closest I could go to being that was a decent TV series, but the middle sagged.
Hawkeye could have been a movie.
Hawkeye should have been a movie.
Should have been a Christmas movie.
Yeah, a lot of these just would have felt like movies, and that's what Falcon and the Winter Soldier was another one that was an egregious example for me. If they keep feeling like this, if these TV shows just continue to feel like movies that have been stretched, I'm gonna get this fatigue real quick. And I've already started to get it. I'm borderline there. Black Panther may have pulled me from the ledge a little bit. But I don't know, man. Phase 5 might push me over the
Let me ask you guys, how do you guys measure, superhero fatigue? What equals superhero fatigue? The way that you personally feel about the way the MCU is going, or you gauge it based on how the general fans feel, how the box office is doing?
No.
It's purely subjective,
personal. Personal.
For myself, things that, because Jacob, this, and Jake, we've been hanging out in Keith for a long time. I got to see it opening weekend, or I got to see it opening night, or sometime soon. But I no longer have that feeling of I will watch it, but it's not a priority right now.
Yeah.
The whole excitement factor, I call it the Star Wars effect. When those Star Wars movies felt like event movies and oh my god, and then they tried to go the every year route.
Yep.
Where
so then it's basically just up to each individual viewer, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, to be honest,
a lot of people feeling this way though.
I'm not even close to feeling superhero fatigue at all.
And that's
to me, give me it all. I want it all, honestly. And that's how I feel. And I wish, and look, I'm not trying to diss on any other, I want more superhero movies from other companies too, is the thing. But for me, it just depends on how they're doing it. Because look, all the Disney Plus shows, look at it as if they added another, basically another studio wing, because they're making the TV shows aren't just hey, Kevin Feige, just take all this on again by yourself, like you were with Marvel Studios movie productions. They kind of expanded Marvel Studios. They have more staff, more people. So it's they're doing a lot, but there's more people working on them too. I don't know. For me, I think the people are watching it. The audience is growing. The box office is doing well, even coming out of a pandemic. So I don't see superhero fatigue still, honestly. And maybe that's just me, because I'm still excited. I still have to see movies opening night, and I still stay up till midnight to watch every single show's episode premiere. But that's just my personal excitement. So that's how I feel about it.
Well,
So-
go ahead. I was just gonna say, that's a lot. It's Geo, like you said, it's subjective. It's based
it's
individual.
that's all it is.
I'm not looking at fans or I'm not talking. When I say that, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about with me.
Yeah.
To where when stuff comes out and I'm just I'll get to it. Thor, Rat or
Love and
Love
Thunder.
and Thunder.
yeah, Love and Thunder. I saw that on. I told you guys, I saw that on Monday. I didn't see it opening weekend. I saw it the Monday just because I didn't have time, and it's just like, well, I'll get to it. You know, there's TV series that, you know what, I'll watch them. I might let a couple of them stack up. I'm not there every episode. There, the ones that are week to week, I'm not there to watch every episode. Right, like I'll get to it when I can. There's going to be movies that come out that, you know, this is probably the way with everyone and with any movie that I don't care about. But if it's something that is not interesting, like, this is a bad example, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like Morbius or Venom, like I don't care. Not gonna see it. Like
Well, that was
20 years ago, I'd have been all over those. Like when I was in high school, all this stuff. This was, I'd have been first in line. Now I'm to the point where there's so much stuff. It's the stuff that I really want to see, I'm gonna go see it. Stuff that I want to see but it can wait, I'll let it wait. And the stuff that I don't want to see, I'm just not gonna see.
So I don't think I'm at superhero fatigue. I'm at blockbuster fatigue. I'm at where it's
That's fair because there's no middle anymore.
Yes.
and that so
Yeah.
like, a great example for me is Jurassic World. All right. I had a screening for Jurassic World, and it was like a week before it came out. And that same night there was a game of football on that I watched instead. I went, no, I'm watching the football. I wanted to watch the football rather than going to see this movie, even though I had to see it a week early and it was a free screening. I had fatigue of I can't be bothered going to see this right now, just because there's something else that is exciting me a bit more than going to see another one of these blockbusters. Now,
Right.
I think, and that's the other thing that's getting me the most with where we're at with blockbusters, and I think Marvel's getting a lot of the blame, rightfully and wrongfully. I think it's a little bit of both. Marvel's getting a lot of blame because it was so successful, and every other studio was trying to copy them. And the problem is, no one's actually making their own thing. And there's a reason why Top Gun is the most talked about movie of the year. There's a reason why everyone is going, oh my God, go and see Top Gun. Because it's, even though it doesn't do anything that special, realistically, it doesn't. Like it's
a simple story.
It's a very, very simple story with very, very simple filmmaking, but it's fun. And it feels like it's an original film. Like the way that Top Gun, people talk about Top Gun and the way that it's being portrayed in media and everything is, oh, this is an original film. It's not a 30-year-old sequel, like, or 40-year-old sequel at this point. Like it's one of those things that where we're at with films and blockbusters is right now, it's either super indie, where you get really super indie films that are like I'm trying to think of like
Everything Everywhere all at once.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere, like a really great indie film like that, or it's the big
Mega
giant
blockbuster,
buster,
Right.
And I
the
think
latest Marvel movie. And
I think you're right, honestly, because I make a priority to see this stuff, but then I'm like, Jurassic World, who cares? Like other stuff, who cares?
Yeah,
Because so I think you're right in that sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Like and that's just where I am at right now. Is for me is I'm at a point where, and it's where I'm not gonna rush to a lot of this stuff. Whereas in the Batman, all right, the Batman for me is still my favorite movie of the year because it was original filmmaking. It felt different to what everything else we have gotten, and it was a blockbuster, and I was fine with that being like a really great film. Someone just said it in the chat. Yeah, John Wick is the middle ground right now, and that's a really great middle ground movie that I wish we would get more of, but we're not getting these middle ground movies. And
Bullet Train.
But even Bullet Train, I'm kind of looking forward to. And
the marketing hasn't been the best.
marketing's been terrible, and David Leitch is a terrible director. So, like, it's
Atomic
I
Blonde.
love me some Atomic Blonde.
okay. Atomic
was-
Blonde is the one that I'll give you, but it's a 3.5 at best. Like
Jacob!
everything else has been trash.
Still haven't seen it.
Like
Hobbs and Shaw, Deadpool 2. Yeah. that's-
Hobbs and Shaw is the worst.
Deadpool 2 is
of
his
all the
worst
Fast and
movie.
Furious
It's his
movies.
worst movie.
I
Deadpool
didn't hate
2.
Hobbs and Shaw.
And
In my
I
house.
Me neither, Keith. Me neither, Keith.
But can
I
you
didn't mind Hobbs
blame
and Shaw.
Deadpool 2 on David Leitch? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
writers, Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, so not when I first saw it, I didn't. I gave him benefit of the doubt. Then I saw Hobbs and Shaw, and I went, "Oh no, okay, you're the problem." So, yeah. So when I saw what John Wick was doing without him, and what I saw what he was doing without
Chad
the crew of John
Stahelski.
with Chad, I went,
Chad
"Oh
Stahelski.
no, you're the problem." Okay, cool. So yeah,
Wow.
that's where I'm currently at with
Yeah.
Well,
that's where currently at.
I think that I think at some point this conversation is going to have to continue. Superhero
Yeah, sorry.
fatigue-
I-
no,
I-
Jake, no, Blunden, you're
I
good,
love
man.
It. I
Oh,
love
that's
it.
a big-
I love
You're
it.
that's a-
seriously, you're good.
good
Like,
one.
and if we do get announcements at D23, Jacob, you are welcome back to discuss everything that comes from there
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
We love to have you join us up there just to kind of continue the conversation. A show
I'm all
only
over
usually
Steve.
runs about 90 minutes, which is why we started a
Yeah.
little bit early tonight.
And we didn't even
but I
talk
want to
about
read.
Kang Dynasty has a director now.
It does.
No.
It does.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi's
Yeah.
director.
Destin Daniel
Oh,
Cretton.
really?
Yep. He
Mhm.
officially announced today that he's directing the Kang Dynasty, which is
Okay.
super, super cool. I do have a couple Streamlabs I want to read to kind of close the show off, so I want to get through these quickly. We have two from Tim Sim here. His first one says, and it's not really something that I want to get into too much because I don't want to kind of end the show on negativity, but he did say, with all the things announced at the panel, is it still right to be concerned about CGI artists' well-being for the next several years after hearing some of their accounts of overworking in the news and social media? That's something that we can talk about at a later date. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal, but that's a conversation that I would like to lengthen out rather than just 30 seconds from everybody. And I know we all have very strong opinions about it. So.
Okay, I'm gonna have just a real quick 30-second thought though. Is yeah, and this is going to be a massive problem going forward on the entire
Oh, yeah.
industry. And Disney's the worst example of it out of everyone.
Yeah, and this is definitely something that we could have as a show topic going
Yeah.
forward. His next
Agreed.
one
Not only,
is
sorry, really quick, some press. Not only them, but also these comic creators, content release people that created a lot of these characters who are also not being compensated for these characters that they created in the 70s and 80s, and so there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney's one of the worst in the entire industry, and no one's willing to talk about it because the fact that no trade has actually ran with this story is quite telling.
But hey, Snyder Cut released digitally.
oh, stop it!
What does that
You know
have to do
what?
with anything?
I'm moving on. Next one. Next one. On his birthday, I had to remove him from the freaking stream.
Man.
Next one from Tim Sim. Of all the projects that were announced at MCU, which one do you think will be delayed? I surely can't be confident all will hit their dates on time.
Secret Wars. I think Secret
You
Wars
know what?
moves to 2026.
Secret Wars, really? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? There's
Here's a
World
crazy
events.
thought.
world events have delayed a lot of this stuff.
Well,
as
yeah.
well,
I mean, just real
unfortunately.
quick, look
So,
at
that alone.
Marvel and DC both did these trailers where like all these movies are coming out. Here's the release dates and whatnot. And look what happened to both.
So I'm gonna say
all
this
the release dates
quickly.
got shifted.
I'm going to say this quickly. I don't know off the top of my head if one will get delayed. I do think there's a chance that one will get bumped up. Something like
Sure.
Fantastic Four, personally.
Yeah, that could happen.
Where they
Bumped up.
swap
Fantastic
where it
Four?
swaps.
They
I-
swap it just like they did with Ant-Man and the Marvels, where they just
Yeah.
swap
Yeah.
the two of them.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see that. I could see. Okay. The one I could see is Thunderbolts and Captain America, depending on what story they're telling.
Yeah,
If
and
they
the
go- if
problem
they
is
give-
most of them are
Mm.
already like almost done or shot already. So like a lot of them probably won't because they're already like a lot of them are in the can for phase 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's tough.
All right, and the last Streamlabs here comes from Theral, and he says, you guys forgot to mention Sandman, which comes out August 5th, season 1 on Netflix, Nightmare Fuel. Paramount Star Trek was at San Diego Comic-Con, and trailer for Jake's wedding on August 13 looks fun as hell. I don't have a trailer out.
Trailer for the
There's no trailer for my wedding, guys. I don't know what you saw.
you're watching it.
That's
You're watching it right now.
But-
I'm not watching trailers for Sandman because that is one of my most anticipated shows out of all
really?
of them, and
Yes.
I want to go in as clean as I possibly
I
can.
know
am
absolutely
beyond
nothing.
excited about it.
I know absolutely nothing, and I have not seen anything. I'm going in clear as day without watching anything, without
Same.
knowing anything.
Same.
Yeah.
That was
I'm
that
so
was my
excited
number one thing.
for it.
That's my number
Does-
one thing.
does-
for Comic-Con.
yeah.
Sandman.
Are you so as Sandman fans? Like, is it like a go? Like, yeah, we're in.
I'm in.
Okay.
From what I've heard, yes, I'm in.
Okay. Cool.
I watched the trailer. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Like, from what I have heard, I am in, and I am.
It's live
very
action, right?
excited, And yes,
I'm definitely going to be watching it, so I'll be curious on how I feel about it, not knowing a single thing about Sandman. So, all right, everybody, that's going to wrap up the show. We've been going way longer than we have been, but there's a reason why we started early. So before we head out, let's do some quick plugs. I will let our special guest tonight start us off. Jacob London, where can everyone find you online?
that is a very good question at the moment because I still don't know. But at the moment, you can find me on Twitter at Jacob London, Instagram and my letterbox. I am starting a new channel, or I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm starting a new channel or if I'm just going to hijack Taylor's. But in the meantime, you can follow me on at Finally Tailored on her YouTube channel, and which is where I'm probably more than likely going to keep going to stay. Yeah. Other than that,
let's be real. That YouTube channel just become an Elvis Stan account anyway.
At the moment, yeah.
That's all she talks about. So that's all she talks about.
Guys, she's gone now 8 times. 8 times.
Maybe more like an Austin Butler. Maybe like an Austin Butler Stan account.
I mean,
that is
I
hyper
love that
aggressive.
movie, but
Yeah.
8 times.
All right,
She's
Keith
so
Barnes, what
lucky
about
I-
you?
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for watching. You can find me on Twitter at Keith Barnes 79. You can follow me slapping people around on there. You can find me on Instagram at Keith Barnes 1979. And with my buddy Jacob Bartley on Bartley and Barnes, we're coming back real soon. Real soon.
We're
Real
planning
soon.
it. We are
Yes.
planning it.
So keep your eyes out for that.
And Jacob Bartley.
Yeah, Jacob Bartley 824 on Twitter. Like Keith said, keep an eye out for new Bartley and Barnes content. We're planning for in-person stuff, so keep an eye out for
Yes.
that. And check out First Round Fantasy. I'm back at that too. We have American football coming up soon, so come check us out at
You
First
had to
Round
throw the
Fantasy.
American in there.
Yes.
No, because that's real football. American football is real football. Look, I adore the NFL. I get up at 3 I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm a Cardinals because
By Taylor.
by Taylor.
Yeah.
But the team that I think I've just naturally gravitated towards because I really love Josh Allen is the Bills.
Ooh,
So,
that's a
like
good,
that.
that's a
Yeah,
good
I
one.
agree with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's
But
nice.
yeah, no, I get up at 3 a.m. every Monday to watch it. It's
I'm so
I
happy
love
to
it.
hear that.
Love to hear it.
I am missing it right now, and I
It's
want it
coming
back
up
so badly.
real fast.
I definitely am not. I definitely do not have a counter that is 45 days away.
And Gio.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at FandomUnited21. Do me a favor as a birthday gift. All right, follow me. People keep saying my followers are low. I mean, I kind of don't care, but like that would be nice. Thank you. And on YouTube, Fandom United. That's my separate channel. Yeah, you want to know what happened to Henry Cavill at Comic-Con and those rumors? Check me out over there. I get into all
You need to change your Twitter handle to Insider Geo. That's what it needs to be.
Insider Geo.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk
There you
about Wakanda Forever and Quantumania, baby.
You can find me at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 N's because someone else took it before I did, Twitter and Instagram. We are here just a couple times a week. Really just the one live show on Tuesdays. We have no Mandalorian or Marvel Rewind right now. They're coming back in just about a month. But we have trailer reactions. We have the movie watching challenge, which Brian will be reacting and reviewing to Don John here later this week. And then you can also find me on A Certain Point of View with Brian, talking Schmodown for the time being until its end in October where we will be transforming the channel and doing a couple things over there. So to everyone who's been watching, hanging out with us for a 2+ hour stream tonight, we thank you so much for all the comments, all the thoughts and opinions on everything that we talked about tonight for San Diego Comic-Con. If there is a big D23 this year, you can bet your ass that we'll be back here talking it again. Same crew, whether it's positive or negative. Who knows? So, everyone watching, thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys next time.